Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Great Voyage. Let you play cubes, you dig through the upside-down mountain. Chapter 81. Crane Vice Admiral sighed, thinking of a bad possibility. With the pissing nature of the world government, it doesn't care about the lives of those people. As long as it can kill Jolin, it can do everything. The common people of that country are afraid that they will suffer. However, Crane Vice Admiral had no choice but to patiently discuss Jolin's new reward with Sengoku. Since Jolin refuses to be a Shichibukai, he is still offering a bounty, and the bounty must be greatly increased. After some final discussions, the new rewards are announced. Cube Kid Jolin, offering a bounty of 1 billion Baileys, life or death. Jolin can defeat Aokiji and compete with Garp. 1 billion is too low, but if it is too high, it will give Jolin fame, and Marine is not happy with that. Garp didn't care about it, but changed the subject instead. Sengoku, now the situation in New World is beginning to be determined. The so-called Four Emperors separatist regime is about to take shape. Have you figured out how to deal with it? Four Emperors pattern. Sengoku expressed helplessness in his tone. It's not good for us to intervene in New World for the time being, let's grow Marine well first. After this year, I will formally succeed Marshal, and then Sakazuki. Pelusolino and Kuzan were nominated as Admiral, and the work of other generals will also be changed. Try to improve the internal rectification of Marine. Quote. Crane Vice Admiral also said, we should increase the scale of conscription by 850, all of which will be handed over to Zephyr, and it will take a few years to train more outstanding officers as soon as possible. Xiaohei is right, the training of recruits should really be handed over to Zephyr. The three Sengoku are very relieved of Zephyr. I have to say that Zephyr is really good at teaching people. Akainu, Kizaru, Aokiji and other vice admirals are basically brought out by Zephyr. Without Zephyr, Marine would not be where it is today. But those who can do more work, for the sake of the balance of the sea, this old comrade in arms still has to take a lot of trouble. Also, there is 7 warlords of the sea. Thinking of Shichibukai's problem, the 3 of them frown subconsciously. This system seems to be very good, but in fact, if you analyze it carefully, you will find that there are great hidden dangers. For example, this time, Doflamingo became the king of Dressrosa, which directly exposed the problem. Shichibukai will not really help Marine, but will use legal plundering power to achieve a new separatist regime. In the future, the tale will never go away, and it will become a new disaster. Although the news said that King Liku went crazy, the Don Quixote family saved the nation. But based on what Sengoku and the others know about Doflamingo, this AJBC incident is absolutely false, and King Liku's madness must have been manipulated by Doflamingo, otherwise how would he take the opportunity to seize power? Only, there is no evidence to debunk Doflamingo right now. Moreover, Doflamingo is now one of the Shichibukai, and he is considered to be half of Marine himself, so it is really difficult for Marine to directly target him. In addition, this guy has a special status, and I'm afraid he has already greeted the 5 elders. Dressrosa's former royal family is also the Don Quixote family. Doflamingo seems to have a good name. This made Sengoku and Suru Vice Admiral feel very aggrieved. Yet another country whose citizens have fallen into the wrong hands, and there is nothing Marine can do about it. This situation is so bad. Now Shichibukai still lacks 2 people. I don't know if the world government has any new candidates, or should we choose 2 people quickly? Garp's eyes flickered. Garp, what do you mean? Sengoku and Crane Vice Admiral quickly understood what Garp meant. God knows which 2 fools the world government will pick, so Marine should take the initiative. Directly choose the one with less harm, so many problems will arise, at least it won't make Marine so upset. It's just that this matter is easy to say, but it is very difficult to really choose people. How can a truly powerful pirate be less harmful? On the other side, the Drum Magnetic Kingdom. The young Luo Zheng read medical books eagerly. Today, Luo has used op fruit to remove the platinum and lead in his body. As long as he takes good care of him, his body will completely recover. What Luo has to do now is to learn medical skills well, so that he will not be unable to save his younger sister Lami, who is also suffering from the same disease as he was when he was a child, and will not face the despair of losing a loved one again. And Rocinante quietly sat aside and read the newspaper, which naturally published the news that Doflamingo became king. He activated the silent fruit ability to block the sound, and then sighed deeply. How could his brother be kind enough to save someone? Obviously, it was Doflamingo who used string fruit to control King Liku to kill, and then jumped out to stop King Liku, thus becoming the hero who saved Dressrosa. Anyone who is smart can see that the thief is yelling, "Catch the thief." However, no one can stop it. Because Doflamingo has been successful, and now it has successfully ascended to the throne, and the big pirates in New World should welcome Doflamingo very much, because the Don Quixote family will bring more business to the big pirates. Doflamingo is a proud but cunning man. He did not directly participate in the separatist struggle in New World, but instead promoted the development of the struggle, continuously sending arms and materials to New World, and intensifying the war in New World. And he can reap the benefits of the fishermen and let himself grow rapidly. One day, when he is strong enough, he will attack New World brazenly and achieve the strongest dominance. Rocinante knows his brother too well. He is definitely not a peaceful person. The world will be disrupted by this person. Allah, I'm reading a newspaper. Aokiji, covered in bandages, came over. Kuzan Vice Admiral, why don't you lie down properly? Rocinante quickly stood up and supported Aokiji. As for Luo, because he was shielded from outside sounds, he didn't notice Aokiji's arrival, and he was still reading medical books seriously, showing a fascinated expression. I'm not that vulnerable. Aokiji shook his head, and rarely showed a smile when he looked at Luo Shi. The little guy is very hardworking, he must be a genius doctor in the future. Rocinante thought deeply. Yes, Luo will definitely become a good doctor. Luo has already eaten op fruit, and his medical skills will be superb in the future. And he is guided by Rocinante himself, and his medical ethics is definitely not bad, so he is definitely a good doctor. Aokiji glanced at the newspaper and said, thinking of Doflamingo. Rocinante nodded. Yes, Dressrosa is definitely a conspiracy to seize power. He will not be a hero who saves the common people, but an executioner. Allah, it seems that you know him best. But, who can stop him? Alas, Kuzan Vice Admiral was right, no one can stop him now. Quote. Rocinante had a look of pain on his face. Rocinante couldn't blame his brother. The reason why Doflamingo became like that is all because of his kind but stupid father. Father failed to deeply understand people's hatred of celestial dragons, thinking that he could understand each other and coexist peacefully with people by letting go of his identity, but the reality slapped him severely. People vent their hatred of celestial dragons on the Don Quixote family who abandoned their identity as celestial dragons. While suffering from discrimination and abuse, he couldn't even eat food. Such days seemed to fall from the clouds to the mud, which was enough to blacken Doflamingo, who was full of arrogance in his bones. The death of his mother and the burning of people directly pushed Doflamingo into the abyss of blackening. Until the moment he pulled the trigger on his father, Doflamingo couldn't look back. However, Rocinante is in no position to blame Doflamingo. So all these years, the only thing he can do is to lurk in the Don Quixote family and try to prevent his brother from doing evil, but now he can't even do it. Aokiji patted Rocinante's shoulder emotionally. Don't blame yourself, it's not your fault. Rocinante said nothing. This matter is as simple as right or wrong. Aokiji immediately chose to change the subject. Porosalino is going back, let's go see him off. It was hard work for him to bring me here. Also, do you have anything to say to Sengoku Admiral so that Pelusalino Nuo Dai is passing on the message? Alright, I'll go with you to deliver Pelusalino Vice Admiral. Rocinante did not refuse, gave Luo some instructions, and followed Aokiji out the door. But Luo suddenly closed the book, secretly took a basic medical book and went out. He was going to meet a lovely friend, a talking blue-nosed reindeer. Grand Line, Whiskey Peak. A tall woman in a black cloak disembarked from a merchant ship. Under the cloak, one can vaguely see the exquisite curves, and when the breeze blows, black hair can be seen floating out of the cloak. However, although the woman walked with ease, her eyes under the cloak were extremely vigilant, and the first thing she did when she landed on the island was to immediately find an alley and get in. Since Whiskey Peak is close to Upside Down Mountain, many bounty hunters are gathered here to guard it. Just to hunt rookie pirates who just arrived on the Grand Line. However, because Crocodile did not form a Baroque work club until his death, The bounty hunters here are like a mess, not organized or climated, but they are not very threatening. And the woman is not vigilant against the bounty hunter, but the black suit behind her. The moment the woman got into the alley, 3 men in black suits and black top hats immediately got off another merchant ship and hurriedly followed into the alley. However, what awaited the 3 was a merciless attack. 24 flowers hook claw. 4 flowers tempest kick. In just 2 moves, the 3 black suits were killed. Robin hurriedly took off the clothes of one of them, quickly changed for himself, gathered up his hair, put on a black top hat, and took out a mask to wear on his face. It should be hard to recognize now. It's a pity that she originally wanted to dress up as a man, but her measurements were too prominent and it was really inconvenient to put on makeup. Fortunately, she has good strength now. She would suffer more or less losses when fighting with these black suits in the past, but now she can easily eliminate them. Such a change was brought to her by Jolin, and she couldn't wait to meet this only trustworthy man. At this time, Jolin was also on his way to Whiskey Peak. I received a contact from Robin before, saying that he would arrive at Whiskey Peak on a merchant ship, and it happened that Jolin wanted to leave Cape Franche for the time being, so he picked Robin himself. I didn't bring Robin with me when I was in West Blue before. One was that my strength was not enough at that time, and the other was that Robin didn't trust him enough. Now there is no problem, just take this beautiful girl with black long straight with you. Otherwise, bringing a brawny thug with an inch head all day would be quite impressive, but how could a boss not bring along a beautiful secretary? Robin would be a very good choice. Only in this way, it is somewhat similar to Crocodile. But Jolin will never name himself Mr. Zero, this name feels weird. In the evening, Jolin brought Bonus down to Whiskey Peak. When the bounty hunters saw Jolin, they were frightened like ostriches. There is no doubt that the bounty of Cube Boy and the West Blue Killer is enough for the bounty hunters on the whole island to live a good life, but no one dares to do anything to these two, because the gap is too big, no one dares to die. 0. Seeking flowers. Marine has just issued a reward order, and the reward for Cube Boy Jolin has reached 1 billion Baileys. 1 billion, what kind of concept is this? That is the bounty offered by the great pirate of the New World, a bounty that only one overlord deserves. Therefore, no one dared to move at all. But at this time, a woman in a black suit and a mask walked towards Jolin. Everyone held their breath when they saw this, and the next second saw the woman throw herself into Jolin's arms. At this moment, everyone suddenly realized, look, this is the boss, and there are beauties in his arms right away. 0.0. Jolin patted Robin on the back and said softly, is everything going well? At the same time, I couldn't help but sigh in my heart, it's been a long time since I haven't seen each other, and I've developed a lot, and I'm still young at this age, I really can't help but be tempted. Robin very well, thanks to the few tricks you taught me, I easily wiped out those stalking guys. That's good, without further ado, let's get out of here first. Speaking of directly controlling the cube, he left Whiskey Peak with Robin and Bonus. Although it was already dark, Whiskey Peak is full of people, and they can't even speak well, so it's really not suitable for a long stay. And the reason why Jolin showed up in a fair manner was to send a signal to the world government and other forces, that is, Jolin was not in Cape Franchise. So, if you want to find him, don't go to that small island country. In this way, it should be able to save Cape Focky from many unnecessary troubles. However, Jolin guessed wrong. There was a badass boat king who didn't even ask about his whereabouts. On the mammoth ship at this time, Jack Bold and Grandiose, one of the 3 major signs of Beast's pirates, were sitting on chairs on the deck. He was ordered to catch Cube Boy and go back to be his younger brother, and he acted without any scruples, breaking into the paradise directly from New World, not afraid that Marine would do something to him. Maybe he still wished that Marine would come to siege him. All the way was too busy, and it happened that Marine could bring him some fun. Master Jack, there is news that Cube Boy has left Cape Franchise, shall we still go to that small country? Someone hurriedly informed him of the information he had just received. No problem, let's go to that small country. Jack has a clear goal, that Cube Boy can fly. We're afraid it's not easy for us to chase after him. Why don't we just give him his territory? He has been operating in this small country for a while. I don't believe he will be willing. When the time comes we'll just sit and wait for him to come back. All the subordinates suddenly realized, Master Jack is really a genius. How could we not think of it? Jack was triumphant, ha 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 ha. If your brains can keep up with Lousy a little bit, Lousy will promote you as cadres. At this time, report when sailing. Master Jack, Cape franchise is not far ahead. Oh, is it finally? 860. Get the boat over there. As soon as Jack gave the order, everyone immediately got busy trying to make the boat go faster, because everyone knew that Jack was impatient to continue on the boat. Just at this moment, a flame suddenly appeared in the sky. On this big night, the flames directly illuminated the sea area. Everyone looked up quickly, and suddenly fell down on the deck in fright, only to see a huge meteorite falling directly towards the mammoth ship. Master Jack, meteorite is coming. Some people couldn't help exclaiming, and they were so scared that they wet their pants on the spot. Jack was also surprised. He thought it was weird, although the weather in the paradise was also chaotic, but it would not be possible for a meteorite to land, and it was a coincidence that it hit his own boat. Feel like someone is attacking. Don't panic. Lousy block it. With a growl, Jack transformed into a ferocious and huge mammoth on the spot, directly filling the entire ship, looking up to the sky and roaring towards the meteorite. If Jolin were here, he would definitely persuade Jack. Dinosaurs were destroyed by meteorites, mammoths were extinct by glaciers, are you sure you can carry meteorites? Well, this is pirate world, and although meteorites are terrifying, they cannot be stopped. I saw Jack staring at the meteorite. Seeing that the distance was almost the same, he directly swung his huge elephant trunk and slammed it on the meteorite. With a bang like a landslide, the terrible meteorite was blown away by his nose. The meteorite flew into the sea not far away, immediately boiling a large area of sea water. But Jack couldn't help but gasp, and the scorched black appeared on the elephant's trunk. Obviously, carrying the meteorite hard was not very pleasant. It's really troublesome. Those who thought they could wipe out you all at once seemed to have to continue. Please don't bother this country. A deep male voice sounded, and a middle-aged man in purple was seen floating down on a wooden plank. The mammoth Jack narrowed his eyes immediately. The meteorite just now was your attack. Haha, I didn't expect it to be a blind man. With a smile, the big hand with clear bones grasped the handle of the stick knife. I am blind, so can you please give me a face for this blind man, and then go away? Huh, who do you think you are? If you tell Lousy to quit, Lousy will quit. Wouldn't Lousy lose face? Then there is no other way, it would be better to invite you to eat another meteorite first. As he said that, he drew out his stick knife and shot several purple circles of light directly towards the sky. Without making Jack wait too long, 10 meteorites that were even bigger than before fell down engulfed in raging flames. Jack couldn't help cursing immediately. Who the hell are you? You really dare to attack Lousy? Unmoved by a smile, either recede, or sink into the sea. At this time, man had already arrived at the Cape franchise wharf. As early as when the first meteorite appeared, the lookout had already reported, and the two rushed over without any delay, and then saw the second meteorite. Oh my God, how could such a natural disaster happen in our country's waters? Roman was astonished. No, I'm afraid it's not a natural disaster, but man-made. Burr was more knowledgeable, so he rushed up to the observatory in the sky, took a telescope to look at the meteorite, moved his sight along the fall of the meteorite, and then saw a huge mammoth. The mammoth was standing on a large ship with a mammoth bow. Its huge face was extremely hideous under the firelight. Hiss, could it be that he is from the Beast's pirates? Since the pattern of 4 emperors began to take shape, there will be a lot of reports about the 4 big pirate groups in the newspapers, and there are naturally many descriptions of Beast's pirates. For example, how powerful Kaido of the Beasts is, and who are the 3 major Kanban boards under its banner. One of the big boards is called Jack, which is a mammoth-shaped ability user of the elephant fruit, and the exclusive ship is the bow of the mammoth, so this mammoth is Jack. How did Jack get here? Could it be that they are targeting boss Jolin? Who is fighting Jack to summon meteorites? No matter what, it is most important to inform the boss first, so Burr quickly took out the phone bug and dialed out. At this time, Jolin was taking Robin and Bonus to a sea area, and then through a small cube, which immediately turned into a dog-headed warship. The 3 began to rest on the warship. Jolin didn't delay at all, and directly took out a photo and handed it to Robin. Robin eagerly took the photos and read them quickly, but his face quickly showed disappointment. This is not what she wants to know. Jolin laughed. It's disappointing, right? Robin nodded. Yes, I don't want to know about these, but these are engraved on the cube. Hee, Robin, if ancient weapon really has nothing to do with history, who would be bored to engrave it on an indestructible block with ancient characters? Jolin, you know the content. Well, I probably know some, so you don't have to worry about whether to tell me that I'm not interested in Pluton. Jolin, it's not that I don't trust you. Robin hurriedly explained. I'm afraid that if you find out, you will be targeted by the world government. This thing is very dangerous, and the world government will definitely not let you touch it. They will kill anyone who knows. Jolin stretched out his hand and patted Robin's head, and said with a smile, You silly girl, I don't blame you, I see you are in a hurry. Robin lowered his head, his cheeks were dyed rosy, but he enjoyed the stroking a little bit. Jolin continued, I want to tell you that since you want to pursue that period of history, all the historical texts are very important, and there is no useless information on them. Since ancient weapon is recorded in the historical text, it must be it also played an important role in that period of history, so don't think this record is useless. Robin nodded obediently. I see, then I will put this away for now. At this time, Bonus, who has always been taciturn, started making tea on his own initiative. First put a cup in front of Jolin. Jolin nodded in satisfaction, happily picked up the teacup and began to taste it. Unexpectedly, an honest gold medalist also understands the world, which is really rare. Bonus put another cup of tea in front of Robin, and said respectfully, Ma'am, your tea. PFF'd. Jolin sprayed Bonus with tea on the spot. Robin's face was also flushed, but he really reached out to pick up the tea, as if he didn't reject the title. Bonus, what nonsense are you talking about? Jolin secretly kicked the idiot. What's wrong? Bonus said innocently. Drink it yourself. Jolin really couldn't blame him, so he could only say to Robin, Bonus is more honest and honest, don't mind. Robin shook his head with a smile, but didn't speak, only drinking tea with a blushing face. Jolin didn't know what to say for a while, but fortunately, the phone rang at 09, finally breaking the embarrassing atmosphere. Brr, what's the matter? Jolin answered quickly. Boss, it seems that Jack from Beast's Pirates came to the nearby waters, and I saw a huge mammoth standing on a big ship with a mammoth bow. Brr immediately reported. What? How did Jack go there? I'll go back immediately. Boss, what's more, Jack seems to be fighting with someone. 2 meteorites fell from the sky in succession. It seems that someone is attacking Jack's ship. Meteorite. Jolin opened his mouth, and surprise burst out in his eyes. Meteorite is a good thing. What a coincidence, why am I not in Cape Franchise at this time, otherwise I would be able to meet this blind ranger who likes to do justice. It's just that I didn't expect that Xiao Xiao would appear near Cape Choki. And it seems that Jack was specifically blocked. Jolin took a deep breath before saying, Brr, take a closer look, do you see a middle-aged man dressed in purple? But Brr wondered. Boss, the distance is a bit far, and it's also very dark, so I can't see it here. Well, it's okay if you can't see it. Although Brr couldn't confirm his appearance, Jolin was sure that the person who made the shot must be smiling. So Jolin reassured him. Brr, there is that person who made a move, Captain Frank is absolutely safe, don't worry. Also, if you see the middle-aged man I mentioned later, remember to give him the phone bug and say I very much hope to have a talk with him, and ask him to contact me when he thinks about it. Although Brr didn't know what Jolin was planning, he absolutely trusted Jolin, so he agreed immediately. After hanging up the phone, Brr continued to observe through the binoculars, hoping to see the appearance of the shooter, so that he would be able to recognize him when he saw it later. But Jolin heaved a sigh of relief and had no idea of going back. Since Yi Xiao chose to take action, it is absolutely impossible for Jack to harm Kopecki. I just don't know if Yi Xiao knows the real face of Captain Frankchi. Not only can this guy fly, but he is also very knowledgeable. Bao Bukchi has long been hiding somewhere to eavesdrop. Or, Yi Xiao didn't know clearly, going to Captain Frank was going to shoot Jolin at him. But with General Yi, Jolin believes Captain Frank will be fine. Jolin, aren't we going back to Cape Franchise? Robin asked softly. Well, I won't go back for the time being, so as not to cause trouble there. And with that strong man who can summon meteorites there, everything will be fine there. Jolin looked relaxed. So where are we going first? I've made plans for this. Let's go to the Devil's Triangle first, where I can grab some things. Then go to Sky Island to see the historical text you have in mind. Then I am really looking forward to this trip. Robin smiled immediately. Although she really wanted to go to Sky Island immediately, she still wanted to act with Jolin more. Since Jolin will also go to Sky Island later, it is natural to be together. It doesn't matter if it's a little later, I've been looking for it for so many years anyway, and I'm not in a hurry these days. Seeing that it was getting late, it was time to rest. Bonus spoke again. Boss, madam, the captain's room has been tidied up, you. Jolin immediately kicked over again, and scolded with a smile, go to sleep, you don't need to worry about this matter. This guy usually doesn't like to talk, why is he still learning to assist now, but the time of assisting is not right, and the matter with Robin has not yet been written off. Robin blushed again, and hurried into the captain's room, closing the door quickly, as if worried that Cao Lin would follow in. Jolin shook his head and laughed, turned around and went to the adjutant's room. The night passed quickly. Capet Frank and its seas. Yi Xiao was still standing on the floating board, but there were only broken boards below. Many dead miscellaneous soldiers floated on the sea surface along with the board, but Jack disappeared. Under the continuous bombardment of meteorites last night, the big ship failed to hold up, and was directly blown to pieces. And the majestic mammoth also sank into the sea. Ability users who can't fly are really at a disadvantage on the sea. However, Jack is a murloc, even if he sinks to the bottom of the sea, he will not die, it depends on where he will float. Fortunately, the purpose of smiling has also been achieved. And Burr, who had been watching from the observation deck, finally saw a smiling figure. Although it was only a very small figure, it was indeed a Chinese man in purple clothes. Character. So Burr took a deep breath and shouted in the voice of a gorilla, this night. Arigato. The soldiers also roared, this night. Arigato. The sound resounds through the sky. How could it be impossible to catch it with a smiling observation hockey? He smiled and was taken aback for a moment, but he couldn't help showing a smile, feeling happier than ever before. Although he didn't help others to get rewards, but hearing such sincere thanks, he suddenly felt that everything he did was worthwhile. But Yi Xiao didn't intend to contact people from this country for the time being, and just waved in the direction of the pier. Then control the board to fly away in another direction. Seeing this, Burr couldn't help but be disappointed. He wanted to call this night over to treat him well. Although he didn't know this night, since the boss said that this night was reliable, it shouldn't be a problem to bring him to China. However, before Burr was depressed for too long, he saw Yi Xiao flying to the pier on a plank. I just heard a smile and said with an embarrassed smile, hee hee, I'm a little hungry, I don't know if I can have a meal. Burr was overjoyed, of course. You can eat as many meals as you want. Hurrah! I finished another bowl of soba noodles with a smile. Then he handed the bowl to the side embarrassingly, and a fat elder sister took it with a smile, and gave another bowl to Yi Xiao. Yi Xiao likes eating soba noodles the most. It seems that as long as the soba noodles can flow continuously in his mouth, he can make him happy physically and mentally. Originally, after beating Jack, I smiled and wanted to go straight away, but before flying far, my stomach started growling, and my body felt strength at the same time. I really haven't eaten very well these days, and I used a lot of strength to beat Jack yesterday. If you are not hungry, you will be a ghost. There is no way, I can only come back with the cheek to eat. The citizens here expressed their warm welcome, and when they learned that Yi Xiao liked to eat soba noodles, they immediately arranged for the fat lady who made the best soba noodles to come over and make noodles for Yi Xiao. The fat elder sister just made 3 pots of noodles with a smile, which was a joy. The happier she eats with a smile, the better her craft is. Burr was also very happy, his eyes full of respect for Yi Xiao. Not only because of Yi Xiao's great kindness to the country, but also because Yi Xiao is a top powerhouse, and because of Jolin's words, he chose to trust Yi Xiao. If such a person is not respected, what kind of person should be respected? I'm really sorry, it's very difficult for you here, and I still eat so much food, so I'm still embarrassed. Mr. Yishao, you speak too seriously. Burr laughed and said, if you hadn't repelled Jack the Drow, the people of our country would have suffered a lot. You have done us a great favor, and some pasta is nothing. Are you sure you don't want to eat some meat? Eating meat is more beneficial for physical recovery. We fish every day here, there is no shortage of meat. He smiled and quickly waved his hands. I love soba noodles the most. After eating soba noodles, I feel energetic. Since he said it with a smile, it was hard for Burr to say anything. At this time, Roman also came over, and respectfully put a small phone bug in front of Xiao Xiao. Burr immediately said, Mr. Yishao, Boss Jolin told me yesterday to give you this phone bug. He said that he would like to have a talk with you. If you think about it, please contact him. Surprised with a smile, His Excellency Jolin knows me. It seems to be true. When I heard about the meteorite falling from the sky yesterday, I seemed to guess it was you. This is strange, I am an unknown person, how could Your Excellency Jolin know me? I don't remember where I became famous. Why? Mr. Yishao, you are so humble. If a top powerhouse like you is an unknown person, then we weaklings should find a crack in the ground and sneak in. Burr and Roman obviously thought it was modest when they laughed. But what he said with a smile was true. He is indeed capable, but he has only been a ranger and has not done anything earth-shattering, so he is indeed an unknown person. In the original book, if it wasn't for Yishao who went to participate in the world conscription, no one would know about him. Being low-key to such an extent, but still being known by Jolin, it is naturally strange to laugh. But since Jolin is willing to talk to him, he will naturally not refuse. He also hopes to know Jolin, especially what kind of thinking Jolin thinks. Only then can we understand why Jolin thought of establishing such a country. Yishao has a strong premonition that he can find the answer to save the people of the world from Jolin. Since that's the case, then I will accept this phone bug. He put away the phone bug with a smile, and then continued to eat noodles. As for when to talk to Jolin, it must be carefully considered, and this matter must not be hasty. Here, Jolin, Robin, and Bonus have all started. Robin was a little shy when he saw Jolin, but Jolin just pretended he didn't see it, otherwise the atmosphere would be weird. After breakfast, Jolin took out the permanent pointer of the capital of Seven Waters, and then began to fly according to the pointer. If you want to go to the Devil's Triangle, you can go from the capital of Seven Waters the closest way, and you can also go to see the sea train that Tom, the world's #1 shipbuilder, is building. It appears to be 2 years before the sea train is finished, so Tom hasn't been executed yet. If I could, I might be able to save Tom too. After all, Tom was really just a shipbuilder. Even if he had built a ship for pirates, it would not constitute a crime in such troubled times. Coupled with the sea train concept proposed by Tom, it can be said to be a project that benefits mankind. Jolin is very interested in this. In the future, when the national power improves, Jolin will probably consider expanding outward from the Cap at Frank. At that time, the territory will be large, and it will be a bit slow to travel by boat all the time, but sea trains can be used. As for the cost issue, when we return from Sky Island, we will not be short of money for the time being, and we can continue to overcome technical difficulties. The idea of sea trains must be very promising. As for the Pluton blueprint in Tom's hand, if Tom is willing to show it, that would of course be a good thing. If Tom refused to take it out, Jolin would not force it either. In the final analysis, the revolution still depends on people, and we should not place too much hope on external things. The power of Pluton is just a legend, and the real situation is unknown. After all, it is a bit illusory. Instead of focusing on this, it's better to look forward to Shang's side getting more advanced technology from Pepper Peng Carolee. Of course, many things have to be done slowly, and there is no rush. It was at this time that an unknown uprising was launched. In a small island country that is not a member of the world government, an ordinary fat man successfully passed the inspection of the kingdom's defenders. When he arrived in the city, his body suddenly opened small doors one by one. Then, a well-trained army rushed out of the small gate and attacked the defenders from the city. This is a Trojan horse plan to attack the cabinet by borrowing the fruit of the city. It was another small country that was not a member of the world government, Qinmazhou. The surrounding mountains and rocks suddenly rose high, completely surrounding the capital. Inside the capital, a towering stone giant stood up. This is the attack of Shishi fruit ability users. The Revolutionary Army has not been formed for a long time, and the current team is not very large, but it does not hinder the movement. Drago is very good at choosing countries. The 2 countries he chose are relatively remote, not paid attention to by the world government, and the royal family and nobles are serious vampires. The people of both countries hate the royal family and nobles deeply, and the Revolutionary Army can easily gain the support of the people. It just so happens that these 2 countries are also small and their national defense forces are not strong, so they can be easily taken down. In the future, it can be used as 2 bases for the development of revolutionaries. This is the first uprising of the Revolutionary Army, which is considered an experiment, and it also easily took down the 2 countries. Afterwards, it will govern the country according to the model of Capet Franche to accumulate experience for the revolution. The world is too chaotic, regime change happens every day. Therefore, the coup d'état in 2 non-joint countries generally does not attract too much attention from the world government. Moreover, after the successful seizure of power, the country will temporarily enter a period of closed-door policy, basically preventing outsiders from entering, and any intelligence personnel who may be hiding inside will also be eliminated. As long as the secrecy work is done well, the fire of revolution can be ignited without the knowledge of the world government and marine. After the new ideas take root and sprout, more and more people will be awakened, and more people will join the Revolutionary Army, thus realizing the growth of the Revolutionary Army. By the time the world government notices, the Revolutionary Army may have grown into a behemoth. Although there is a risk of being discovered if launching an uprising rashly, Drago decided to act after several considerations, and he could not do nothing because he was worried about being discovered. Otherwise, you might as well go home and sleep. Fortunately, the uprising went smoothly unexpectedly. After successfully taking down 2 small countries, the Revolutionary Army immediately began to build bases in full swing. This is a good opportunity to explore the experience, but it must not be missed. Just as Dorag was gearing up and getting ready, intelligence personnel sent news about Fisher Tiger. Dorag didn't dare to delay, so he quickly left the work to other cadres, and rushed to 757 Forchard Island by himself, and at the same time passed the news to Jolin. After Jolin hung up the phone, he frowned and thought for a long time. Although the memory is a bit fuzzy, Forchard Island should be the hometown of Koala. According to the original plot, it was the Sun Pirates who sent Koala back to his hometown, but the residents of Fulchet Island turned their heads and reported to Marine, resulting in Fisher Tiger being besieged and killed by Marine. Even though he was rescued by Jinbei in the end, Fisher Tiger was on the verge of death due to excessive blood loss. In the end, because of the hatred for human beings in his bones, he refused to use human blood bank for blood transfusion, and his life came to an end. I didn't expect the plot to come here, it feels a bit too fast. Jolin was also anxious, worried that Drago would not be able to catch up. It would be a pity if Fisher Tiger died in the end. We can only hope that Drago will succeed. Jolin, are you okay? Robin was worried when he saw Shaolin frowning all the time. It's okay, I'm just worried. Jolin smiled and shook his head. Fisher Tiger, I seem to have heard of his deeds. A few years ago, there was a rumor that a murloc suddenly broke into Mariajoy, the residence of the Celestial Dragons, and not only set it on fire, they also released a large number of slaves. And the murloc also managed to escape, and later the Sun Pirates were formed. Yes, that murloc is Fisher Tiger. Is he in danger now? It's very dangerous. Celestial Dragons will not let Fisher Tiger go. Kizaru's pursuit will not end if he doesn't die for a day. The entire Sun Pirates will not be Kizaru's opponent. Once Kizaru catches up, they will definitely die. Fisher Tiger is the flag of resistance, we must save him. After Jolin finished speaking, he sighed again. Now he can't catch up, whether Fisher Tiger lives or dies, it all depends on Drago. On the other side, Forchet Island. Fisher Tiger personally sent the little girl Koala to the island, and Koala was also embraced by her mother. However, instead of showing gratitude to Fisher Tiger, the people on the island showed disgust and fear on their faces. Even Koala wanted to wave goodbye, but her mother refused to let her go. Although Fisher Tiger knew this would happen a long time ago, his mood also subconsciously became heavy. Why doesn't he hate and fear humans? He was obviously just going out to sea for an adventure, but he was caught by humans, sent to a cage for keeping livestock, and branded as a slave by celestial dragons. How terrible human beings are. They wantonly trample on the freedom and dignity of people of other races. They regard the lives of slaves as worthless. They will whip them at will no matter how good or bad their mood is. If they accidentally kill a slave, AJBG will feed the corpse, pet the beast. After being a slave for so many years, how is Fisher Tiger not afraid of humans? Moreover, he hated human beings from flesh to bone. That's why he disagrees with Princess Otahime, thinking that the princess's idea of peaceful coexistence with human beings is too naive. How can human beings coexist peacefully with the playthings in their eyes? So for real freedom, he formed the Sun Pirates. He used the brand of the sun to cover up the slave brand on himself and his compatriots, but the slave brand seemed to go deep into his bones and blood, and the shame of a lifetime would never be forgotten. Yes, he hates it. He wants to kill all humans. However, this little girl named Koala changed his view of human beings. Koala made him understand that it is only those slave owners who hate him. Even though Koala is also a human being, he is still treated as a slave and abused. Koala's fate is exactly the same as his. Perhaps, there is kindness and friendliness among human beings, as Princess Otahime said. Perhaps, it is really possible to try to coexist peacefully. Fisher Tiger turned and left, thinking about things and making plans. However, what he didn't know was that someone had already secretly contacted Marine, and it happened that Strawberry Rear Admiral continued to lead the team to hunt down the Sun Pirates when Kizaru was away, and now happened to be nearby. So he immediately rushed to Forchard Island at full speed. When Fisher Tiger reacted, he was already surrounded by a large number of Marine regiments. Strawberry Rear Admiral counted Fisher Tiger's crimes in detail, and also intimately told the truth about the island's residents, which made Fisher Tiger, who had hoped for human beings again, completely out of anger. Unforgivable, unforgivable, human, Fisher Tiger roared and rushed towards the sailor. However, dense bullets were fired from the muzzle of the black hole, piercing through his body in an instant. The sound of the gunshots made everyone in the Sun Pirates feel that something was wrong, and they were about to go and have a look, but they found that several warships surrounded them. What's going on? Why are there so many warships? Jinbei was shocked. Don't you understand? This is a trap, Arlong roared. That little girl was Marine's bait, and we fell into their trap completely. This is human beings, and we shouldn't have trusted them in the first place. Jinbei didn't care much. Arlong, I'll leave this to you, we'll save Boss Tiger. However, as soon as Jinbei finished speaking, a golden light suddenly appeared in the sky, and the wretched Uncle Kizaru unexpectedly appeared at this moment, sweeping towards Jinbei with his long legs. Jinbei quickly used all his strength to block, but was still kicked and smashed into the sea. Oh, what an overcoat, the rumored sea hero Jinbei. Kizaru joked. The old man just came back from the Gucci Kingdom and just happened to be surrounded by the Sun Pirates. It seems that the old man's mission is about to be completed. Arlong and other Murlocs were furious. He's only one person, let's fight him. 8-foot Chong Guyu. But Kizaru immediately fired countless light bombs, blowing up the big ship of the Sun Pirates in the blink of an eye, causing heavy casualties to the Murlocs as well. Fortunately, the Murlocs' water skills are excellent. Falling into the sea is equivalent to saving lives, at least they can avoid the light bullets smoothly. But Jinbei was very worried about the safety of the boss, so he rushed to the shore, but was stopped by Kizaru again. At this time, Fisher Tiger was fighting with the sea soldiers covered in blood. Strawberry Rear Admiral continued to direct soldiers to shoot, making Fisher Tiger constantly injured and in a critical condition. Give it up, Fisher Tiger, or you'll die. Strawberry Rear Admiral shouted. Even if I die, I will not surrender. Fisher Tiger is determined to die. He will not be caught again. The end of being caught is to become a slave again, so he might as well die directly. Go to hell then. Shoot. Bang, 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 bang. With dense bullets flying, Fisher Tiger felt that there was no way to hide, so he couldn't help closing his eyes, waiting for the arrival of Shinigami. However, there was a sudden breeze, and in the next second it suddenly turned into a strong wind, blowing all the bullets away in an instant. And Fisher Tiger was also uncontrollably swept up by the wind. Mr. Tiger, it's too early to die now, try to live. An unfamiliar male voice came into his ears. Fisher Tiger quickly opened his eyes, and what he saw was a figure in a cloak. Although he couldn't see his face clearly, he was definitely a human being. "I won't trust humans anymore," cried Fisher Tiger. "Hee, then I don't care, I am only responsible for saving you, how to live is something you should consider." Such words made Fisher Tiger stunned. He couldn't figure out what the cloaked man meant. At this time, Drago was secretly relieved. Fortunately, he rushed with all his strength and finally arrived in time. Otherwise, if Fisher Tiger died, it would be a huge loss to the revolutionary cause. A revolution against the world government must unite all races. If you want to unite the Fishmen Island, Fisher Tiger is the best candidate, and can also be used as a banner of revolution, so you must not let Fisher Tiger die. Drago immediately waved and strengthened the wind, blowing Fisher Tiger to the coast. Starrowberry Rear Admiral's complexion changed. "Who? How dare you meddle in Marine's affairs? Keep Fisher Tiger." However, Drago didn't listen at all, and continued to blow Fisher Tiger away. Starrowberry had no choice but to lead the sailors to catch up. As soon as Fisher Tiger reached the sky above the coast, he immediately saw Shalai, who was being violently beaten by Kizaru. "Jinbei, go!" Fisher Tiger yelled. "Boss Tiger, are you okay?" Jinbei was overjoyed. Kizaru was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that Fisher Tiger was rescued by someone. This is not acceptable. He doesn't want to continue this mission, so he should kill the Murloc. "So, you have been kicked by the speed of light." Kizaru flashed to Fisher Tiger's side in an instant, and flung his long legs fiercely. Fisher felt unable to resist, and secretly. However, before Kizaru finished speaking, Drago's hands grabbed his ankle-like claws. At the same time, Drago waved his other hand, and the strong wind immediately knocked Fisher Tiger into the sea, sending Jinbei and other Murlocs into the sea by the way. The moment Jinbei entered the sea, he shouted, "Thank you, benefactor, for saving me, I am very grateful." But the yellow ape showed helplessness. "Dorag, it's not good for you to do this." Drago is Garp's son, and he joined Marine under the influence of Garp, a Marine hero. Kizaru naturally recognized him, but Drago suddenly left Marine for unknown reasons and disappeared completely. "I didn't expect to meet again, to appear here, and to save the Sun Pirates." But Drago smiled slightly. "Pelusalino, I was entrusted by someone to rescue Fisher Tiger, but I can't help it, that person gave too much." Kizaru was taken aback, and couldn't help guessing Drago's current occupation. 0. Seeking flowers. 0. The years when Drago disappeared were too secretive. Even Garp, the father, didn't know what Drago was doing, and Kizaru naturally didn't know anything about it. Listening to Dorag's words now, it seems that he is doing something like a mercenary. Someone paid a lot of money to ensure Fisher Tiger's life, and the amount was definitely not low, otherwise it would be impossible for someone like Drago to make a move. But Kizaru remembers that Drago obviously doesn't like money. Drago didn't care if Kizaru misunderstood or not, he just said that on purpose, and before he was fully exposed, he could only use this pretense to fool him. And he didn't talk nonsense, he was indeed entrusted by Jolin, and Jolin did give too much. Seeing that the Murlocs had all entered the sea, Drago didn't want to fight, and turned into a strong wind and flew away. Kizaru didn't intend to chase after him either. Chasing Drago doesn't make any sense. He can only think about how to report the matter to his superiors. After all, he finally seized this opportunity, but the task was not completed. Afraid of deducting wages, a day later, the remaining members of the Inyang pirates rested on an island. At this time, the atmosphere was very oppressive, and all the Murlocs had grief and anger on their faces. Grieving for the dead compatriots, angry because of human betrayal. Fisher Tiger remained silent, and after the ship doctor gave treatment, he lay silent all the time. Fortunately, Dorag was rescued in time, otherwise he might really die. "Boss Tiger, tell me something, we should go back to that island and kill all the humans on that island," Arlong said violently. "Arlong, what nonsense are you talking about?" Jinbei immediately objected. "Even if those islanders denounced us, Koala must not know about it. After all, she did not betray us. Do you want to kill all the people in Koala's hometown now?" "Haha, who knows if that little girl was involved? Maybe that little girl was the first to betray." "Arlong, Shut up. Koala has been with us for so long, we fully understand her character. She will definitely not betray, don't you believe it? Jinbei, how do you make me believe in humans? The danger this time is brought by humans. But the one who saved Big Brother Tiger is also a human, isn't he? Jinbei and Arlong had a complete quarrel. Then, the Murlocs split into two groups, feeling like they were about to split. Seeing this, Fisher Tiger had no choice but to say, "Stop arguing, first learn from Marine. It is the humans on the island who betrayed the Sun Pirates, hoping that the Celestial Dragons would let Koala go. Humans are indeed hateful, but Koala did not betray us, I was saved by humans." Speaking of this, Fisher Tiger didn't know how to describe his complicated mood for a while. How Murlocs should get along with humans seems to be a completely insoluble problem. I seem to be wrong, but is Princess Otahime really right? I really don't understand. At this moment, a gust of sea breeze blows. Jinbei immediately stood in front of everyone, adopting a defensive posture. It can be seen from 147 that even though the captain of the Sun Pirates is Fisher Tiger, the strongest is Jinbei. But when he saw that it was the cloaked man who had saved Tiger before, Jinbei immediately lowered his vigilance. Although he didn't know who this person was, since this person chose to help the Sun Pirates, he shouldn't have any malicious intentions. Fisher Tiger got up and asked with a serious face, "Human, what are your plans?" Drago lifted his cloak and showed a friendly smile. "I hope I can talk to you about a problem we are all exploring, that is, the root causes of racial discrimination and solutions." On the other hand, Kizaru reported the failure to Sengoku. Sengoku was silent for a long time after listening, seeing Garp, who had nothing to do with him, was still eating the senbei, and tried not to get angry on the spot. "Porosalino, you can lead the team back for now," Sengoku ordered. "The old marshal will officially retire immediately, and I will succeed the marshal at that time, and you will also be nominated as admiral, and you will come back to participate in the promotion ceremony first." Kizaru subconsciously breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that. The hunt for Fisher Tiger seemed to be getting too much trouble, and he didn't want to go any further. "Now it's all right. After going back to Admiral, you don't have to do such troublesome things often, and you only need to deal with big things at ordinary times." After the phone bug hung up, Sengoku took another look at Garp, then angrily stepped forward, snatched a bag of senbei from Garp's hand, and poured it all into his mouth. Garp stared in shock. "Sengoku, are you a pirate? You even stole the senbei from your old friend." Sengoku roared, "Who are you talking about, pirates? I'll be the Marine Marshal soon. As a boss, what would you do with a bag of senbei? You are robbery. You are more One Piece than Roger. I haven't settled with you yet. What's the matter with Dorag? Why did you suddenly intervene to save Fisher Tiger? You haven't disciplined your son properly." Can I blame the old man for this matter? You only give the old man a few vacations a year, let alone that Dograg. The old man can't even spend more time with his grandson. How can you let the old man discipline him? Who knows that Drago? What is that fool doing? Or you will give the old man 10 years off, and the old man will investigate that kid himself. 10 years off. You have a good idea. It's all your Garp's fault anyway. Nani, Sengoku, you unreasonable old fool. Hearing the quarrel between the two live creatures, Crane Vice Admiral held his forehead helplessly. These two guys have been like this since they joined Marine. It's been years, and it hasn't changed a bit. However, the matter of Drago is indeed a problem. Originally, he was a good Marine. Not only was he extremely strong, but his military rank was almost at the top, but he suddenly chose to quit, and he didn't know what he was thinking. Over the years, he has even disappeared, and no one knows what he is doing. Now it suddenly appeared and rescued Fisher Tiger. According to Kizaru's report, it seems to be using people's money to do this. It seems reasonable, but it always feels wrong, but I can't tell what is wrong. In the end, the matter about Drago was temporarily put aside. The most important thing now is the change of leadership. In the future, Marine will be led by Sengoku. There will be many adjustments to be made, and a series of new policies will also be implemented. To be strong, Marine has to make changes. As for military expenses, Marshal Kong should fight for Marine after becoming the commander-in-chief of the whole army. I hope that 5 elders will not be too restrictive. Go back to the Murlocs. Fisher Tiger and Dorag stood on the shore and discussed the issue of race. Mr. Tiger, the problem of racial discrimination has existed since ancient times. Because they don't understand each other, emotions such as disgust, fear and even contempt arise, and when they contact each other, it is easy to cause misunderstandings, which leads to a series of problems. Dorag said seriously. Oh, are you trying to excuse the sins of mankind? Fisher Tiger taunted directly. No, I'm just discussing with Mr. Tiger. Dorag didn't mind Fisher Tiger's reaction, and continued, because of racial discrimination, not only the Murlocs and mermaids are victims, but also the long-handed, foot-long and even giant races. Because of the physical due to the difference in structure, other races are regarded as alien races by human beings, and they are viewed as livestock, and even driven and abused, so as to experience the pleasure of enslaving other races. Fisher Tiger clenched his fists immediately. It seems that you, a human race, are very clear, so what? Don't worry, Mr. Tiger has also seen that human beings are also forced to become slaves, right? So what? It's just that you humans are killing each other, and we Murlocs won't have such a situation. Hee, so this highlights the root of the problem, where the exploitation and persecution come from. In fact, all of us human beings are basically slaves, but we are not directly bound by chains, but by those in power with selfish. The rules have created invisible shackles, which bind all of us, prevent us from being free, and must obey their orders. So in front of those in power, there is no difference between us ordinary people and people of other races. 4.6 inches. Fisher Tiger was a little dazed. He seemed to understand what Drago meant. Based on his own experience, he actually followed Drago's train of thought and sorted out the original index. Yes, no wonder there are so many races of people in the slave cage, even humans, because everyone except those in power are slaves in chains. To put it more bluntly, all people are the same, the only difference is those in power who oppress. It is true that Koala is a human race, but it also has a similar fate to other races. The humans on that island had no choice but to betray in order to live humbly. Even Marine is probably just a tool of those in power. The root of everything lies in those in power. It is the world government, headed by celestial dragons. A few days later, the news sparked heated discussions. Marine Marshal Kong formally resigns, and Sengoku takes over as marshal. Sengoku nominated Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji to serve as Marine Admiral. Zephyr Admiral also officially became the chief instructor, and the ranks of other Marine generals also began to change. In addition, Marine began to recruit troops in various sea areas to increase its strength. Ordinary people may not understand the significance of this change in Marine, but all forces are becoming more and more afraid of Marine. Especially knowing how powerful the newly appointed Third Admiral is, he dare not take the liberty to clash with Marine at this time, otherwise he is afraid that Marine Admiral will make an example of him. However, there are still quite a few people talking about Aokiji. Because Aokiji once lost to Cube Kid Jolin in Alabasta. Now that Aokiji has become a Marine Admiral, which proves that his strength is really strong, doesn't that mean that the Cube Boy Jolin is stronger? No wonder Cube Kid's bounty has suddenly increased to 1 billion Baileys. No wonder Marine didn't dare to do anything to Cube Boy. This is really appalling. At this time, the protagonist who is being talked about has already arrived in the capital of Seven Waters. Jolin specially asked Robin to change his makeup. His long straight became a single ponytail, and then he changed into a 2009 business attire and black-rimmed glasses, just like a secretary. As long as you don't look carefully, it's hard to see the original appearance. It would be great if Robin could understand the return of life, so that he could change his appearance at will without the trouble of makeup. As for the reason for the makeup, of course it is because there are too many CP organization personnel hidden in the capital of Seven Waters. Since Tom, the world's #1 shipbuilder, is in charge of the Sea Train project as a scapegoat, the world government will naturally send someone to supervise it. In addition, CP5 also learned that the Pluton design is in Tom's possession. In order to get the design to pave the way for his official position, Spandam wanted to check Tom's whole body. However, because the Sea Train project is still in progress, Spandam dare not do it casually. This guy also tends to use the power of the world government to force Tom to hand over the design drawings, never thinking that Tom might refuse. But, Spandam, Jolin couldn't help itching his hands, wanting to kill this guy. If there is a list of the most hated characters in the world of One Piece, Spanda and his son must be on the list. Spandam is the main murderer who killed Robin's mother, and Spandam is the fool who bullied Robin in the Enies Lobby plot. The ugly faces of the father and son are disgusting, but they are both hard-fated characters. A lot of characters who shouldn't die died, but these two lived better. I don't know what the author of the original work thinks. The 5 scumbags like Spandam, whose spine was broken by Robin, are still alive. Isn't this purely disgusting? But now it's the real world. If Jolin meets this guy, he will definitely be young directly. Let's see if he dies or not. The 3 of them wandered around the capital of 7 Waters openly. Many people who saw Jolin turned pale with fright, and then hid far away, lest they offend this big boss. The news of Jolin's appearance in the capital of 7 Waters also spread to the ears of various forces with lightning speed. Among them, Cracker, one of the 4 generals of the Big Mom pirates, also received the news, and immediately ordered to turn the bow of the ship and head for the capital of 7 Waters. Auntie took a fancy to Jolin's ability and wanted to take Jolin as her subordinate. She didn't even wait for Jolin to enter the new world, so she sent Cracker to send tea party invitations to Jolin. Cracker felt that no one dared to refuse his mother's invitation, unless he didn't want to live. Jolin defeated the army Admiral Aokiji, and Cracker didn't think that Jolin dared to resist Big Mom. In addition, the one who got the news was naturally Spandam, who was in the Enies lobby. Spandam doesn't have any skills, but he knows how to climb the top, and he also knows how to pretend to be a tiger. Even though he knew that Jolin was powerful, he was not afraid of Jolin. Because he felt that behind him stood a behemoth-like world government. Not to mention Jolin, even Roger the One Piece knelt down. Therefore, it is not a big problem to take down a mere Jolin. Just send CP5 to inform Jolin, let Jolin be captured without a fight, and obediently become the stepping stone for his Spandam promotion. Jolin didn't know that he was being targeted by so many people. If you know it, you won't care. At this time, he was taking Robin for a stroll in the capital of 7 Waters, and Robin held his arm affectionately, not at all like a secretary but like a girlfriend. Seeing something beautiful, he immediately pulled Jolin forward to pick it out. When she sees something delicious, she will ask Jolin to buy it for her. Jolin also likes this kind of atmosphere, so he also took the initiative to cooperate with Robin and go shopping with beautiful girls, so what can he be dissatisfied with? As for bonus, he was working as a bodyguard conscientiously. After shopping around, the 3 of them arrived at the departure station of the sea train. A handsome locomotive is parked in the station, and a fat Murloc is directing the work of other people, and he has also done it himself, which can be described as quite skillful. This Murloc is Tom, the world's #1 shipbuilder. Jolin also saw Tom's 2 apprentices, Bingshan and Frankie. But the current Frankie is still called Katie Flam, and he is only in his 20s. The essence of pervert has been revealed, and he dares to run around in a pair of underwear. This is shameless. Jolin is really afraid that Robin will have the eye of a needle. Oh, is a big man like you also interested in sea trains? A female voice came from 570. I saw an old lady with emerald green hair holding a wine bottle and pouring wine into her mouth, walking to the side. It was the old lady Kei Keluo who almost made Sanji lose his dream. Jolin nodded. I feel that this is a project that benefits the world. If possible, I would like to ask Mr. Tom to go to Cape Frank to build a sea train line to Alabasta. Grandma Pokemon couldn't help laughing. Ha ha ha. It seems that you are very optimistic about the sea train. I believe Tom will agree to you, if he can survive. He'll survive. I said it. Oh, are you planning to snatch someone from the world government? Isn't it possible? If the world's #1 shipbuilder is executed like this, it will be a huge loss to the world. The world government doesn't know how to cherish it, but I can't let them destroy such a talent. I just don't know Mr. Tom is willing to refuse to go with me. Grandma Kei Kemming didn't answer. If Jolin really wants to save Tom, then she definitely wants Tom to follow Jolin. But she understands Tom's character, and she would rather be executed in a dignified manner than hide in a sneaky manner. Once her stubborn temper comes up, she can't even pull back the sea train. Such a character is really helpless. Jolin seemed to see Granny Kekemeng's thoughts, but didn't say anything. It's still too early for the sea train to be completed, so don't worry about it. When the time comes, they will directly snatch people, including Bingshan and Frankie. These talents can't be wasted. As for whether Tom and the others are willing, that's up to them. First save him and then slowly enlighten him. After watching the locomotive for a while, the three left. Jolin didn't go to say hello to Tom and the others. It is not necessary to have an intersection so early, otherwise it may bring unnecessary trouble to Tom now. Tom just needs to focus on the sea train now. The three began to inquire about the news of the Devil's Triangle. The Devil's Triangle is still very famous. There are many ships and people missing there every year. Many people can't help being afraid when they talk about it. However, Moria should have been in New World for the past 2 years, which means that the missing person was not cut by Moria. It seems that the Devil's Triangle is not that simple. It should be because of the shrouding of the fog that caused the navigator to get lost, or it might be that the fog has a hallucinogenic effect. In short, it is still quite dangerous, and Jolin dare not be careless. The sea is full of dangers, and one cannot dare to underestimate nature just because one has some strength. At this time, Bonus suddenly said, "Boss, do you want me to solve it?" As he spoke, he glanced at the man in a black suit hovering behind. Obviously, someone was following the three of Jolin, but the tracking skills still need to be improved. Jolin didn't care, and waved his hand to let Bonus do whatever he wanted. Bonus walked directly to the man in the black suit, and then suddenly dragged the man into an alley, not allowing the man to react at all. Not long after, Bonus came out from the alley and shook his head at Jolin. Apparently Bonus didn't ask anything. Hee, it looks like he's from the CP organization. Jolin was quite interested. If it's just an intelligence officer from an ordinary force, they can usually easily find out their identity, but Bonus didn't ask anything, so it can only be the CP organization. After all, it is a special agency affiliated to the world government. Regardless of its strength, the quality of confidentiality must pass the test. I just don't know if it's the idiot from Spandam. Jolin didn't take it too seriously. As long as the head of the CP didn't come in person, there would be no problem. The sky gradually darkened. Jolin is not in a hurry to go to the Devil's Triangle now, and plans to stay in the capital of Seven Waters for one night before leaving tomorrow. However, when staying in a hotel, they only reserved 2 rooms, one for Bonus to live alone, and the other for Jolin and Robin to live together. But don't think too much, it's to protect Robin. Although Robin's strength has improved, he is not afraid of 10,000 but just in case, and he must be more careful in the capital of Seven Waters, so it is better to stay with Jolin. Robin naturally knew what Jolin meant, but he couldn't help being shy. And I don't know what she was thinking, just entered the room and started to take a shower. Jolin was outside, listening to the sound of water in the bathroom and Robin singing. He couldn't help being distracted for a while, and when he saw Robin coming out wrapped in a towel, he almost couldn't help having a nosebleed. Ahem, Robin, put your clothes on, I'm still here. Jolin covered his eyes with his hands, but his fingers were wide open. If you want to see it, you can watch it directly, and I'm not angry. Although Robin also blushed, she was obviously more generous than Jolin, and asked Jolin to help her brush her hair, but Jolin could only agree with difficulty. Holding the black hair with a towel, smelling the fragrance of shampoo. 29-year-old Robin is now wrapped in a bath towel and exuding infinite charm. Jolin felt that if he wanted to, Robin might not refuse. However, he still forced himself to calm down and brushed Robin's hair solemnly. Now Robin regards him as a reliable friend. If he's greedy for Robin's body, what's the difference from guys who want to take advantage of Robin? So, even if you are told that you are not a man, you have to hold back. After drying his hair, Jolin breathed a sigh of relief, and then went into the bathroom, deciding to take a cold shower to calm himself down. However, Jolin didn't notice that Robin pouted towards his back, with a little disappointment and hatred in his eyes, and even muttered a coward after Jolin entered the bathroom. Fortunately, Robin is not really angry. She thinks Jolin like this is cute. In the future, she will always be by Jolin's side, and she can get along slowly. If there is a spark of love, then just make a decision, and there is no need to be too anxious. At night, the entire city of water gradually quieted down. Jolin and Robin also fell asleep, but they were habitually alert. In the middle of the night, when people were falling asleep, a small voice suddenly sounded outside the window, which immediately woke up Jolin and Robin. However, Jolin made a reassuring gesture to Robin, and had no intention of getting up at all. Not long after, there was movement from the room next door. Obviously, the gold medalist Bonus got up. After a few screams, the hotel returned to silence. Bonus is an excellent bodyguard. Robin laughed. That's natural. Go to sleep first, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Jolin closed his eyes again. The next day, Bonus escorted 3 men in black suits to Jolin. Jolin didn't intend to ask, and directly turned one of them into a cube, and then disassembled the memory cube, but it didn't integrate the memory into his mind, she simply intercepted some information. Hey, Spandam really sent you here. Jolin's smile became bright, and he looked at Robin. Remember the guy named Spandine? The guy who killed your mother and pressed the golden buster call, good job, phone bug with his own hands. My son Spandam seems to be trying to trick me. We can lure him here and let you charge some interest. Hearing this, Robin's pupils shrank suddenly, as if recalling what happened when he was 8 years old. Seeing missing, grief and fear flashing in Robin's eyes, Jolin couldn't help feeling distressed. He gently hugged Robin into his arms and beat her back carefully. Coaxed with his most gentle voice, "Don't be afraid, I will be with you in the future." Robin held Jolin's skirt tightly, nodded heavily, and it took him a long time to recover. But she said, "Let's not think about revenge for now. If you kill Spandam, it may cause unnecessary trouble. The most important thing now is to find the historical text first. If there is a chance in the future, I will definitely give it to you. Mommy and everyone in O'Hara will take revenge." Jolin naturally agreed, "I will listen to you, and I will help you too." Chapter 91. Since Robin doesn't intend to take revenge now, there is no need to stay in the capital of 7 Waters. After taking care of the remaining 2 CP personnel, Jolin and the 3 flew away from the capital of 7 Waters and headed straight for the Devil's Triangle. But Spandam waited all night but still didn't get a report from his subordinates, so he had to contact another subordinate to investigate, and soon found that the 3 subordinates sent before had no news at all. This terrifies Spandam. Unexpectedly, Jolin was so ruthless that he directly killed him. Fortunately, someone else was at Annie's lobby, because they thought it was too far away, so they didn't go to arrest Jolin in person, otherwise it would be cool. However, Spandam did not dare to report this matter, because it was a personal loss caused by his private actions against Jolin. Once the higher-ups were investigated, it would leave a bad record for his career. I can only wait for the next mission to report the casualties of 3 more people. But Spandam is also a very stingy person, so he completely hates Jolin. Thinking of the situation reported by his subordinates just now, he knew that Jolin had inquired about the Devil's Triangle, so he ordered his subordinates to find a way to pass the news to Cracker, who was rushing to the capital of 7 Waters. Hey, one of the 4 desert generals of Big Mom Pirates is very strong. I will send someone to collect the fisherman's profit after you both fight and lose. Such a big contribution will definitely ensure my official luck, ha 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 ha. Quote. As Spandam expected, after receiving the news, Cracker commanded the ship to rush towards the Devil's Triangle without hesitation. The originally silent Devil's Triangle is about to become lively. One day later, the 3 of Jolin flew in front of a cloud of fog. After checking the map, they confirmed that it was the sea area where the Devil's Triangle was located. The fog was so thick that the visibility was less than 10 meters away. No wonder the boat can't get out after entering it. It would be hell if it could come out in this situation. However, Jolin was bold enough to control the cube directly and flew into it. After flying for a while, I saw a lot of dilapidated ships, and some of the ships could still see skeletons, which seemed to be quite old. Jolin turned on observation hockey in an attempt to find a living skeleton. Back then, the Rumba pirates seemed to be wiped out in the Devil's Triangle, which means that Brook was here a long time ago, and he never went out. The current Brook should and hasn't been captured by the Shadow. Brook, this guy once served as the captain of the guard for a certain kingdom, and his strength is still very good. If you meet him, you can invite him to join the team, which can be regarded as an extra thug. As for where the future King Luffy will find new musicians, Jolin doesn't care. Since Jolin came to this world, everything will not go according to the original plot. If the revolution goes well, maybe the world government will be destroyed before Wong Luffy starts to go to sea. At that time, there will definitely be no more pirates on the sea. At most, let Wong Luffy be an adventurer. After searching for a long time, I still haven't found it. No way, the Devil's Triangle is not small, otherwise Brook wouldn't have been unable to get out for so many years. Jolin is not obsessed with finding the skeleton, and is now concentrating on finding Moria's island ship. Fortunately, Moria's island boat was very big, and it was an easy target to find. It didn't take long for Jolin to discover the location of the island boat, and boarded the boat without hesitation. The environment here is good, it's quiet and suitable for reading. Robin commented. Jolin didn't even know how to refute. Robin prefers this kind of place, as if the darker it is, the safer it is, just like her dark heart. At this time, Bonus rarely said, "Boss, when I see Moria, I want to make a move." Jolin didn't object at all. Be careful, Moria fought monsters like Kaido before, and she came back with a beard and tail, which shows that she is quite strong. The Moria of today is not the big fat house 10 years from now. Even if they just came back from defeat in New World, their strength should not be underestimated. With Bonus's current strength, I'm afraid it's not an opponent, but because Bonus has no fights to fight recently, those black suits before were not enough for him to warm up. Since Bonus wants to shoot, let him play until he is satisfied. The three of them started walking towards the center of the island boat. The road was quiet, and no zombies were seen. It seems that Moria really just came back, and she didn't have time to collect more shadows and corpses. Naturally, there are not many zombies. After walking for a short time, I arrived in front of a dark-style castle. Moria also came out of the castle at this time, and laughed loudly, hee 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 hee. Cube Kid Jolin, I didn't expect you to come to me. I want to use your shadow to create the strongest zombie demon god, I want to revive Oz. Jolin suddenly showed a strange expression, Moria, why don't you ask me? Hee 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 hee. I don't care, anyway, if you come to my territory, your shadow has to be handed over to me. Of course, if you are willing to surrender to me, I can show mercy and take you in. Are you so sure you can beat me? Of course, how can you be so strong as a young man who has never been to New World? Moria bared her sharp teeth and laughed, you don't think you will be my opponent if you beat Aokiji. Let me tell you, Marine Admiral is just a fake. The big pirates in New World are the real strong ones, and the real monsters like Kaido. You are just a little mouse who can only dig holes, I can easily take you down. Well, Moria is still very confident now. Even though he was defeated by Kaido, he didn't think he would lose to others. What's more, Jolin is really young, and he really didn't enter the New World, so it's only natural for Moria to look down on Jolin. As for Jolin's defeat of Aokiji, Moria actually didn't believe it. If Aokiji was so easy to defeat, then the Emperor of the New World would have given naval headquarters to him long ago. Jolin spread his hands. Since this is the case, there is nothing more to say. I am actually here to kill you, and I want to win the title of Shichibukai Killer. Kill me. Hee 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 hee. Young people these days are really arrogant, then I want to see how much you weigh. As Moria spoke, the shadow suddenly turned into a group of bats, flying towards Jolin. Jolin led Robin back, while Bonus slashed at the bat with a knife in both hands, but the shadow bat was cut in half and turned into two bats again. The number actually increased due to the attack. Seeing this, Bonus simply abandoned the shadow bat and went straight to kill Moria. Hee hee, Cube Boy, you want to defeat me with just one subordinate without doing it yourself, you are so crazy. Moria continued to taunt. Then he took out his own big scissors to split them, and the scissors acted as big knives and cut towards Bonus. Bonus responded with a master cut, and fought against Moria one move at a time. You came and went with dozens of moves, but there was no winner. Moria suddenly felt surprised. You West Blue Killer has some strength, it's a pity to follow Cube Boy, why don't you come and hang out with me? I promise you 10 beautiful sleeps that you have never imagined. Bonnie's tilted his head, and said word by word, you are not as good as the boss. Moria was furious immediately, you don't have to drink a toast. I'll cut off your shadow today and put it in Ryoma's corpse. As he spoke, he stepped up his scissors attack, and Armament Hockey and Observation Hockey followed suit, beating Bonus back steadily. However, Bonus was very calm. Although there was a flash of excitement in his eyes, his mood did not change much. It was rare to meet such a strong enemy, and Bonus naturally cherished the opportunity to fight. This is a good opportunity for him to grow up. If he misses it, it will definitely drag the boss back. That's intolerable for him. Dust slash. PFF'd. The whole figure of Bonus flashed, and it was actually behind Moria. The dense flashes seemed to be released in an instant, not only covering Moria, but also cutting the ground into pieces of tofu, which looked very terrifying. However, Bonus did not let go of his guard at all, and started to look for his opponent with knowledge and knowledge. I saw that Moria, who was cut by the moat just now, turned into a black shadow, but Moria did not know when she was in the distance, and she was leaning comfortably on a stone pillar. He. You are not my opponent. Shadow Mage. I saw two scissors in the hands of the black shadow, and launched a fierce attack on Bonus. Bonus counterattacked while defending, but found that his attack could not cause any damage to Shadow Clone, but consumed his physical strength for nothing. It can't go on like this, it will be dragged down sooner or later. So Bonus locked onto Moria's body, suddenly activated the shaving skill, and flashed to Moria in an instant. Dust slash. PFF'd. Moria was once again covered by dense flashes. The stone pillar was also cut into pieces like tofu. However, Bonus found that this Moria had turned into a black shadow again, but the school just now had the appearance of Leah. He. This is my move Shadow Warrior, which allows me to exchange positions with Shadow Clone instantly. You can't hit me, so throw in the towel. Moria was triumphant, wanting to see Bonus's helpless expression. However, Bonus just thought for a moment, then activated the shaving skill again, and flashed in front of Moria. But he turned around and kicked in the direction of the shadow, unexpectedly kicked out a huge tempest kick slash, and at the same time sent out a moat slash to Zubaya. Hit the main body and the shadow at the same time, it depends on how Moria changes positions. As expected of Bonus, he really knows how to adapt. Jolin couldn't help but be surprised. Bonus said he was only interested in moonwalk and shaving, but he secretly learned Tempest Kick, which is really unexpected. But the better the gold medalist, the happier the boss must be. The boss should give Bonus a raise. Moria was also shocked, so she didn't change her position at all, but held up the scissors to block Mochin as much as possible. It's just that the moat slash is a dense attack, and Moria's figure is too tall, and scissors alone can't block it completely. As for defending with armament hockey, that would be too laborious, and I will have to deal with Jolin later, so I'd better save it. Then, Moria's shoulders, abdomen, and legs were cut with wounds, and blood continued to flow out. You pissed me off. Moria was angry. He didn't expect that he, a big pirate, was injured by a little West Blue killer. Wouldn't it be a joke to say it? So he stopped playing, and took the initiative to attack Bonus, and also manipulated Shadow Clone to fight together, and immediately put Bonus at a disadvantage in a 2-on-1 fight. But Moria is very upset, because Bonus's fruit ability has its own defense. If you want to break through the defense, you have to use hockey. It feels like a waste. If you consume too much, you may not be able to beat Jolin. At this time, Jolin looked around curiously, and observation hockey kept scanning around. It's just that there are no other people, no zombies. Maybe Moria hasn't recruited the surgeon who sewed up the corpse and the leopard who ate the transparent fruit. As for Princess Mononoke Perona, she should have followed Moria long ago. The current Perona should be 12 or 13 years old, I don't know where it's hidden. Isn't this just peeking there? Jolin saw a little girl with pink hair and 2 ponytails sticking her head out from a certain corner. She seemed to be very curious about Jolin and the others, and was more concerned about Moria's battle. Who's that little guy? Looks cute, Robin asked, pointing at Perona. Hey, I'm not a little guy, I'm Princess Mononoke Perona. You dare to trespass on Lord Moria's territory, just wait to be punished by my Princess Mononoke. 0. Perona took the initiative to stand up and answered Robin's question. But this attitude is really arrogant. As soon as she raised her hand, white ghost bodies flew out of her body and flew towards Jolin and Robin. Seeing this, Jolin immediately led Robin to dodge. This ghost has no entity, and physical attacks are definitely ineffective, and Haki probably won't be able to hit it. The only way is to bring down the little guy Perona. So Jolin took Robin and walked behind Perona. Before Perona could react, Jolin hit the back of her neck with a knife, and she passed out on the spot. Moria suddenly panicked. "Brick boy. You let Perona go. She's still a child." Jolin said innocently. "Do I look cruel? Don't worry about hitting you, I won't hurt a child. I just don't want to hear her quarrel, she's fine." Moria breathed a sigh of relief. All the partners he brought to the new world are dead, and now only Perona is left. He raised Perona as his daughter, but he didn't want to see Perona get hurt. Fortunately, this guy Jolin still has a bottom line and didn't hurt the children, otherwise he would definitely tear Jolin to pieces, even if he didn't want Jolin's shadow. "The little guy is very cute, leave it to me to take care of it." Robin directly took Perona into his arms. It seemed that he really liked this kind of dark style. Seeing that Jolin and the two really wouldn't hurt the child, Moria shifted her energy to fighting. However, he feared that he would have to fight Jolin in the future, so he didn't dare to fight with all his strength, but compared to Bonus, he used his full strength without any scruples. In this way, even if Moria was much stronger than Bonus, she still couldn't defeat Bonus immediately. Mastery / Mode / Marine 6 styles, and 2-color Haki used one after another, and the battle can be said to be hardy. This was a good test for Bonus. Under the pressure of Moria, he kept honing his skills, and kept trying to injure Moria. If he was in the game now, he would definitely be able to see Bonus constantly picking up experience points. Over time, Moria just felt annoyed. "Come out, zombie soldiers." As Moria yelled, the ground broke open immediately, and zombies crawled out. It's just that the number is really pitiful, only 9. It seems that Moria really hasn't had time to collect a large number of corpses and shadows, which is why he hasn't summoned zombie soldiers. Bonus watched the 9 zombies rushing towards him stiffly, but he didn't care too much, and knocked down all these zombie soldiers with just 2 stabs. However, in the next second, all the fallen zombies stood up again. Regarding this, Bonus was a little puzzled, but he was not surprised. After all, there are countless fruit abilities in the sea, and it is very normal for any situation to arise. Shave. Bonus dodges directly in front of Moria and continues to wrestle with Moria. It doesn't matter if the zombie soldiers can't be defeated, they are slow anyway, just avoid them and fight Moria directly, but don't let Moria hide and rest. Moria also had to continue to fight Bonus, and summon the zombies to come and cooperate with the Shadow Mage to make trouble for Bonus. Seeing this, Bonus stepped on the moonwalk and charged into the sky, and raised his foot to slash with intensive Tempest Kick, not only smashing the ground, but even the zombies were cut into corpses. Since it can't be killed, just cut it into pieces, if you don't believe they can splice them together. Sure enough, those zombies were still alive after being broken into pieces, but they couldn't stand up anymore. Obviously they didn't have the ability to splice. What a tough guy. Moria was furious. He didn't expect Bonus to fight at such a high level. So he didn't keep his hand anymore, and directly sucked the shadows of those zombies over, and quickly integrated them into his body. His body size also expanded rapidly, and his strength was immediately enhanced. Shadow Gathering Place. Invincible Scissors Twist. Moria yelled. The blades reformed into scissors, and cut towards Bonus suddenly. As soon as Bonus gritted his teeth, Armament Haki was completely covered on Mode / and directly collided with the scissors. There was a bang, and the ground seemed to tremble. Moria was shaken back several steps by the huge force, while Bonus was directly sent flying. It hit the castle hard. Blood spilled over the dark sky. Seeing this, Jolin didn't wait any longer, and jumped directly in front of Moria. "Bonies, are you okay?" Jolin asked. "Ahem, boss, I'm sorry, I lost." Bonus got up with a pale face. "No need to apologize, Moria is not that easy to deal with. I am very pleased with your growth, now you rest aside, Robin's safety is in your hands." "Yes, boss, don't worry, I will do my best to protect Madam." As he spoke, Bonus walked over to Robin and sat down. He was obviously injured, but he didn't groan. If Zoro is a tough guy 10 years later, then Bonus is even stronger than Zoro. Zoro seems like a painless machine, but he is the most loyal subordinate. Bornies, let me treat you. Robin respected Bonus. Ma'am, just give me the medicine for the wound, I can bandage it myself. Bonus didn't dare to bother Robin. Robin's face turned red when he heard the words, and he silently handed over the wound medicine, but he didn't dislike this title. Perhaps in Robin's view, it would be a matter of time before she became a wife. The battle between Jolin and Moria also officially started. Moria didn't cancel the shadow gathering state, and the huge scissors directly smashed towards Jolin. It's just that this kind of attack may be very difficult for Bonus, but in Jolin's view, there is not much threat. He just raised his hand lightly and took the scissors. Moria was stunned for a moment, with disbelief in her eyes, and then continued to raise the scissors to smash. Bang, 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 but Jolin stood there motionless, catching the scissors with just one hand, which made Moria panting from exhaustion. Impossible. Why are you so powerful? Moria couldn't believe it. Hee, didn't you fight Kaido before? Haven't you seen such power? Jolin was smiling. Misaka. Moria's complexion changed dramatically. At this moment he finally believed the fact that Jolin defeated Aokiji. That is to say, this cube kid has already reached the level of a monster like Kaido at a young age. It is only natural to defeat Aokiji, and Moria is completely dismissed against him. But how is this possible? Even if you start exercising from the womb, it is impossible to have such a level at such a young age. Now that you understand, then die with peace of mind. As Jolin said, he jumped in front of Moria lightly, and punched Moria's chest with his fist. Moria screamed, and the shadow that merged into her body flew out of her mouth, and her huge body shrank rapidly. And Moria reacted quickly, dodging back immediately. Jolin was about to catch up, but suddenly heard a scream. Kumasi, come on. I saw a bear puppet zombie suddenly rushing out from a certain corner, directly blocking Jolin. And Perona rushed over quickly, trying to block Jolin with open arms. Jolin was stunned for a moment, and immediately looked at Robin and Bonies, only to see that both of them were lying on the ground with a negative appearance, which is called a life without love. So you're already awake. Jolin came to a sudden. It appears that Perona woke up suddenly and then attacked Robin and Bonus with a negative ghost. As for the bear puppet, it was probably ordered by Perona to hide in the corner and never come out, but now it comes in handy. Perona said loudly, Lord Moria, I'm blocking this place, run quickly, or he will kill you. Moria stopped and cursed loudly, what stupid words are you talking about? How could I leave my companions and run away? Even if I die, I will not abandon you. Then, he even ran back and dragged Perona back. Jolin couldn't help but rolled his eyes, the way these two men were messing around made him look like a villain. But I have to say that Moria and Perona are also considered father and daughter. Pirates are indeed hateful, but it doesn't mean that pirates don't value family affection, but they can't be whitewashed just because of this. In a society ruled by law, a crazy murderer will respect his parents, but no matter how filial he is, he cannot change his criminal facts. In the chaotic world of pirates, many pirates also pay attention to friendship, but they are still villains who burn, kill and loot civilians. Some people may say that the Straw Hats are not pirates at all, but just a group of adventurers. This should be true, but there are thousands of pirates, and few of them are as clean as the Straw Hats. A big pirate like Moria definitely did a lot of burning, killing, and looting. He and Perona had a deep affection for father and daughter, but he would kill other people's parents and children without hesitation. This is why Jolin can kill Moria without any scruples. If Jolin were to kill Perona, who was only 13 years old, he would not be able to do so. But today, even Perona can't stop Jolin from turning Moria into a cube, because he came here for the shadow fruit. How could he let Moria go? So, Jolin started to walk towards Moria, with murderous look in his eyes. The next second, Perona knelt down with a plop, and begged on the ground, I beg you not to kill Lord Moria. I only have one relative, Lord Moria. If he dies, Perona will be alone. Please let him go. This made it difficult for Jolin to make a move for a while. Perona was picked up by Moria since she was a child, and has always regarded Moria as her father. However, she has been left in this place by Moria, and Moria took the crew to New World. It can be said that Perona has been living alone, and only the bear puppet Kumasi is with her. Now that Moria finally came back, Perona was finally accompanied by someone, but now Jolin wanted to kill Moria. How does Perona agree? Moria couldn't help being moved when she saw this, and tears rolled down her hideous face. At this time, Robin came over and gently tugged at Jolin's sleeve. Jolin, how about letting him go? Jolin was taken aback for a moment, seeing the pleading look in Robin's eyes, and suddenly thought of something. Robin may have been touched by the scene, thinking of her childhood, how she hoped that others would not kill her mother, Dr. Kroba and the others, so that she would not experience a miserable childhood. Perona now is just like Robin 10 years ago. Jolin felt distressed and couldn't help but sighed. Let's go, you two, but the things here belong to me now. Also, Moria, when you want to kill ordinary people in the future, remember what happened today. Others have parents too, sons and daughters. Your experience today is exactly the same as those innocent people. Moria nodded solemnly, patted her chest and said loudly, from now on, I, Moria, will no longer attack civilians. If I don't keep my promise, you will come and kill me, and Perona won't need to intercede anymore. Good. Remember your words, I will always pay attention to your actions. Jolin said, waving to Moria and Perona. As if they were pardoned, the two hurriedly supported Shangdao and walked out of the boat, and the bear puppet also hurriedly followed. Now the island ship belongs to Jolin, they can only find a broken ship to leave, and they have to run away as soon as possible. If Jolin repents, it will really be over. It wasn't until Moria and the others walked away that Robin apologized. Sorry, I was wayward and ruined your plan. Jolin smiled and patted Robin on the head. Yes, you caused me a huge loss, how do you make it up? For example, be my girlfriend or something. Okay, just be my girlfriend. Robin nodded without hesitation, but his face turned red instantly. Robin, are you serious? I'm just joking, you can't just agree to this. Jolin was stunned. What, you don't like me? That's right, I'm too happy. Jolin embraced Robin happily, with a smile on his face. In fact, he didn't blame Robin. He really just wanted to make a joke so that Robin wouldn't feel burdened, but he didn't expect Robin to agree, which was really a surprise. And Robin didn't seem to agree to it just to make up for his mistakes, but he really liked it. I don't know when it started, this love has already sprouted, and now it is a matter of course. Now that the relationship has been officially confirmed, it needs to be stamped first, so Jolin looked affectionately at Robin's face close at hand, bowed his head and gave his first kiss. Although I once said that I will not consider love and marriage for the time being, but love comes too fast like a tornado, it cannot be stopped. The other girls have agreed, if you shrink back, you are not a man. After a long time, the two parted reluctantly. Robin's cheeks were flushed, but there was a smile on the corner of his mouth, obviously very happy. Bonus said solemnly, Boss, Madam, congratulations. Robin nodded, thank you, Bonies, I will ask Jolin to send you the bonus. Send it, definitely send it, not only a bonus, but also a salary increase. Jolin was in a good mood, so he waved his hand to add money to Bonies. How could he treat such a loyal and potential thug as Bonies badly? This trip is really worthless. Although he failed to grab the shadow fruit, he gained a piece of love. The other 900 people also harvested this island ship, which can be brought back to Cape Frank, which can be regarded as expanding the country's land area. Moreover, Moria should have quite a lot of treasures, and Heidao Chushui should be there too, so it is considered a profit, so there is no need to be too entangled in a shadowy fruit. Jolin hurriedly took his girlfriend and Bonus for a stroll in the island ship's castle. Robin liked this dark place very much, so Jolin decided to give the island boat as a gift to Robin, and successfully exchanged Robin for a kiss. Although it was just a kiss on the cheek, it also made Jolin very happy. After that, Moria's treasure and a large coffin were successfully found. After the coffin was opened, it turned out to be the corpse of Ryoma, as expected, with the big sword and black knife Chushui in his arms next to the corpse. Jolin directly picked up the black knife Chushui and waved it casually. He felt that the knife was a good knife, but it was infested with too many haki, so it was not very easy to use. Trying to use the fruit ability to turn the haki into a cube, but quickly chose to give up. Haki seems to have been completely integrated with the knife. If haki is forcibly turned into a cube and pulled out, the knife may be useless. That's too much waste, it's really not worth it. Jolin took another look at the corpse. With his vision of a great swordsman, he always felt that Longma's corpse was extremely extraordinary, as if there was a sword intent flowing inside the body. Could it be? A flash of inspiration flashed in Jolin's mind, and he immediately turned the corpse of the dragon horse into a cube. Then it was directly decomposed, and the armament hockey cube and the swordsmanship cube were successfully decomposed. More precisely, it should be called the sword intent cube. That is the will of a sword. Sure enough, he is worthy of being a powerful dragon-slaying swordsman. The sword intent and hockey have long been integrated into the bone marrow. Even after so many years of death, the sword intent and hockey are still not exhausted. This is also the reason why after Brook's shadow merged into Ryoma's body, his strength is much stronger than Brook's. Jolin hastily put away the cube solemnly, feeling happier. Unexpectedly, Longma brought an unexpected surprise. This trip really made a lot of money. After that, Jolin turned Haidao Chushui, Keibao and even Xiaodao ship into cubes. However, the island boat was still too big, which took a lot of effort from Jolin. Now that the matter is over, there is no need to stay in this place any longer. It is time to go to Sky Island, where there are countless gold and massive ammunition waiting for you. And when Jolin didn't know, a pirate ship with pink hair and red lips sailed into the mist. Cracker's biscuit man stood at the bow, scanning the mist with impatience in his eyes. I thought this trip would be relatively easy, but I didn't expect Cube Boy to run so well. From Cape Franchise to Whiskey Peak to the capital of Seven Waters and then here, it seems to change places every day. What a waste of his Cracker's time. After catching up with Cube Boy, you must give him a good lesson. At this moment, Owen, who was on the boat, seemed to have discovered something, and exclaimed, "Cracker, come and have a look, there is a living skeleton here." Cracker thought that Owen was hallucinating, and said helplessly, "Brother Owen, what nonsense are you talking about? How could the skeleton be alive? It's really a living skeleton." Cracker's eyes widened in shock. On a broken ship passing by, a skeleton was holding a cup, as if drinking coffee. And the skeleton also greeted with a smile, "Yo ho 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 ho. I didn't expect to meet someone again. How are you? It makes me feel happy to see you, although I don't have the heart, yo ho ho." Unexpectedly, it was Brook. As Aunt's sons, Cracker and Owen are also very powerful, so naturally they are not afraid, but feel strange. "Who are you? How dare you play tricks in front of me?" shouted the irritable Owen. "Yo ho 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 ho, I'm not pretending, I'm really a skeleton." Brook didn't realize the seriousness of the problem. "Brother Owen, maybe he is a special creature in the Devil's Triangle." Cracker is relatively smarter. Mom likes special creatures the most. "Let's take this skeleton back and give it to Mom. I will definitely get her praise." Owen's eyes lit up. "This method is good, so let's do it." As Owen said, he jumped onto the broken boat and grabbed Brook. Brook sensed that the other party's intentions were not good, so he quickly pulled out the axe and stabbed it, but Owen grabbed the blade directly, and within a second, the blade turned red, and then was directly bent by Owen. "Ha ha, I am an ability user who ate the Nguyen fruit, your sword is scrap iron in front of me." Owen laughed loudly, grabbed Brook by the neck, and lifted him back to the pirate ship. Immediately, some subordinates brought seastone handcuffs and directly handcuffed Brook. Brook was suddenly powerless and unable to move, and his dark eyes were full of despair. "Originally trapped in the Devil's Triangle without seeing the sun, today I finally met someone, but I didn't expect to be arrested and sacrificed to some mother. It's nice to leave here, but he's going back to see Laboon, and he can't be taken as a slave. No, you must find a way to escape after leaving the fog." At this moment, a wide wooden board made of squares flew through the air. There are also 3 sofas and a table on the wooden board. Jolin, Robin and Bonnie are sitting comfortably on the sofa and resting, and there are tea sets on the table. I really know how to enjoy it. Because the distance was not far, Jolin and Cracker immediately noticed each other. "Ha ha, Cube Boy Jolin, I've been looking for you for a long time." Cracker was overjoyed. "Mom has taken a fancy to your strength, so you come with us to attend Mom's tea party. As long as you follow our Big Mom pirates, you will have a bright future." When the last sentence was said, the miscellaneous soldiers on the ship suddenly held their heads up and their chests were very proud. In their view, Cracker's words are right, because they are loyal to the Big Mom Pirates, and they have a special face when they go out, and no one dares to bully them. Jolin smiled brightly, so they are Charlotte Linlin's two stupid sons. Jolin was really happy. Don't be unhappy, devil fruit and hockey are delivered to your door. A biscuit fruit, a hot fruit, and the two-color hockey of the two are not weak, and the value far exceeds Moria, which is a big surprise for Jolin. Thinking about it carefully, this trip to the Devil's Triangle is really worth it. Moreover, the one lying on the deck is Brooke. I didn't expect to meet him here, this is an extra thug. How dare you call us stupid? Cracker and Owen were furious on the spot, but Jolin struck first. Jolin jumped from the board onto the pirate ship, drew out his two knives and cut the ugly biscuit man in half, then turned around and attacked Owen again. Such extreme speed shocked Owen and the miscellaneous soldiers. Especially the miscellaneous soldiers couldn't help exclaiming, "Master Cracker, are you okay?" Bonus and Robin also landed on the deck, attacking the miscellaneous soldiers without saying a word, without Jolin's orders at all. Dust slash. PFF'd. Bonus crossed his arms and chopped, but Chinmahao only hit 2 people. The other miscellaneous soldiers successfully defended and evaded. Although he is a miscellaneous soldier, he really deserves to be a miscellaneous soldier of the Big Mom Pirates. With this strength, he can be a captain anywhere in the world, and he can't even rank as a cadre in New World. This instead excited Bonus. I wasn't interested in fighting trash fish at first, but now it seems that fighting trash fish is not bad. Robin also took the initiative to join the battle. These miscellaneous soldiers have a little strength, which is just suitable for her to train. She doesn't want to be a vase by Jolin's side, but wants to be able to fight side by side with Jolin. Hot Wind Fist. Owen hit with a scorching punch and successfully defended against Jolin's double knives. Then, with hot air wrapped around his hands, he began to dance his fists crazily, outputting crazily at Jolin. Coupled with Owen's fiery red hairstyle, which looks like the blades of an electric fan, it really gives people the feeling of an oven. He also happens to be the Minister of Baking of IWC, which is really vivid. Jolin defended casually with both sabers. Although Owen's strength is good, it is not difficult for Jolin to deal with it, and it is easy to defeat him. But don't worry, if Cracker and Owen are defeated so quickly, those miscellaneous soldiers will definitely surrender directly, which will delay Robin and Bonus's training. Crack, crack, crack. There was a crisp applause, and many biscuit fragments suddenly formed on the deck. Moreover, a lot of biscuit fragments were quickly pieced together into tall biscuit men, who surrounded Jolin with a big sword. The guy who hides his head and shows his tail, one of the 4 desert generals of the Big Mom Pirates, is he a coward who doesn't even dare to show his face? Jolin cursed, swinging a sword as a slash wave. The huge slash directly cut off all the biscuit men in half, so powerful that Owen couldn't help but gasp. At this time, a tall figure came out of the cabin with a big sword on his shoulders. He was half naked, with a very peculiar hairstyle, a purple bun on the top of his head, and the braids on both sides of his back seemed to be ignited by sparks. It was Cracker himself. This Cracker is often shown as a biscuit man, but his real body is rarely shown, and even the bounty offered as a biscuit man. But now, being provoked by Jolin's words, he came out on his own initiative. The miscellaneous soldiers couldn't help being surprised, because even they had never seen Cracker's true face, and many people really thought that the biscuit man was Cracker himself. "You dare to insult me, I won't take you back to Wanguo, I will kill you directly." Cracker was really furious. Since he became the star of Desert 4, no one except his mother dared to speak loudly to him, let alone scold him. Now this square boy actually provoked him so much, it is an unforgivable crime. Roll hyphenation point pretzel. The big sword in Cracker's hand spun at a high speed, and armament hockey stabbed at Jolin as soon as he wrapped it around, unexpectedly releasing a spiral sword aura. Jolin was not in a hurry, and easily pushed away the sword energy with a single swipe. However, this sword chi gave Jolin a strange feeling, as if he was about to be spirally drawn in the moment he pushed aside the sword chi. If Jolin hadn't been stronger, his arms would have been drawn into it. Crushed. This swordsmanship is a bit interesting, it seems that I want to have a good time with you. Jolin smiled and started to attack, using both hands to attack Cracker's vital points quickly. Cracker was startled, and quickly raised his sword to defend, but was constantly pushed back by Jolin, and he was wounded not long after. Even though the injury was not serious, he couldn't help being angry. Because Cracker saw it, Jolin seemed to be teasing him. This is simply a huge insult. Cookie Man, come on. Waves hyphenation point pretzels. Cracker began to exert all his strength, while manipulating the Biscuit Man to cooperate with the battle, while using his own spiral sword technique, but he still failed to gain the upper hand against Shang Kaolin. And looking at Jolin's expression, it seems to be relaxed and freehand. Now Cracker knew that he underestimated Jolin. With Jolin's strength, he was probably already on par with Katakori's brother. No wonder he was able to defeat Aokiji. At this time, Cracker still doesn't think how powerful Aokiji is, and no matter how strong Marine Admiral is, he is not as good as his second brother Katakori. However, the reality is that Aokiji is stronger than Katakori, and Jolin is obviously stronger. Cracker, I'm here to help you. Owen didn't look at it either, and took out a huge naginata from nowhere. Nuanuogo heated the naginata, causing the blade to burn, and the flaming sword roared towards Jolin. Jolin just smiled, only relying on his two-handed swordsmanship to deal with it, and he still didn't lose the wind. After a long time, Cracker and Owen couldn't help becoming anxious. They found that Jolin was not only stronger than them in strength, but also had excellent stamina, as if he hadn't been consumed at all. If this continues, not only will they not be able to complete the task, they may even be killed by Jolin. For a while, both of them were thinking of retreating. At this moment, Robin wiped out all the remaining miscellaneous soldiers with a Tempest kick dance, and sat on the ground to rest panting like bonies. A hearty battle with the miscellaneous soldiers AJCC was hard work for them. Seeing this, Jolin stopped holding back. He raised his knife and slashed out of the Thousand Slice Valley. 4 or 5 huge slashes wiped out all the Biscuit people. Cracker and Owen were also driven back by the slash. However, Jolin's figure flashed, and his speed was too fast to be seen. The next second, he was already in front of Owen. Before Owen could react, he slashed Owen's belly with 10 knives. PFF'd. Blood splashed from the abdomen. PFF'd. Owen also spit out a mouthful of blood on the spot. Armament hockey fired directly into his body, destroying his internal organs forcefully, causing him to be seriously injured on the spot, and his expression quickly weakened. Brother Owen. Cracker was startled, and rushed forward desperately. However, Jolin flashed again, but he was already behind Cracker. Okay, so fast. Cracker's pupils shrank, knowing that Jolin was serious, but he realized that the gap between himself and Jolin was so big that he didn't even have time to react. With such strength, I am afraid that he has already caught up with his mother. PFF'd. Cracker was cut into the air with a knife, and the armed defense was torn on the spot. He was seriously injured like Owen. Cracker and Owen fell on the deck at the same time, looked at each other with difficulty, and both saw the inconceivable, despair and regret in each other's eyes. Back then, I thought it was an easy task when I came here. But unexpectedly, it is a lament for the end of life. And no matter whether they underestimated Jolin or not, the moment they saw Jolin, the end of death was already doomed, because Jolin's strength was too strong, probably on par with the 4 emperors of New World. How could they be rivals? Jolin said at this time, there is no need to say the last words. I don't want to hear your so-called brotherly love, and I don't want to hear you yelling that your mother will avenge you. How old are you, and you don't feel ashamed to call your mother every now and then? Quote. These words seemed like a mental attack, and Owen and Cracker couldn't breathe for a while, and spurted a big mouthful of blood. There is more air in and less air out. Jolin was also unambiguous, and directly turned the 2 into cubes, and decomposed devil fruit black cubes, hockey cubes, skill cubes, memory cubes, and corpse cubes. Don't worry about throwing the corpse cube, just put it together with Crocodile's corpse. Anyway, the cubes are insulated from the air, so they are not easy to rot, and someday they can be exchanged for bounties, and they will be used later if they feel useless. After doing this, Jolin looked at the skeleton lying on the deck again, and the skeleton trembled with fright, fearing that Jolin would also turn him into a cube. By the way, play dead. He is a skeleton, as long as he is going to die, he will not be found. Jolin smiled and squatted in front of the skeleton. Brooke, stop pretending, if you die, Laboon will cry to death. Startled, Brooke sat up immediately. He asked eagerly, Sir, you said Laboon, is it a whale Laboon? That's right, the whale that has been waiting for 50 years at Twin Point is still waiting. But it thinks you are all dead, so it hits its head against the upside-down mountain day after day, year after year, and wants to reach the Grand Line. I'll find you on the other side. Laboon. Brooke burst into tears, and he didn't know how tears were produced in a skull without tear ducts. It took a long time for Brooke to recover. He wanted to get up but found that he had no strength. Fortunately, Bonus found the key and quickly unlocked the seastone handcuffs for Brooke. And Jolin immediately made a block and put the seastone handcuffs into the block. Then create a bag from the block pile, and put the block containing the seastone into the bag. Seastone is a good thing, of course you should keep it and make good use of it. Thank you three for saving me, I am very grateful. Gentleman Brooke saluted. My name is Brooke. I used to be the captain of the guard in a certain kingdom, and later became the acting head of the Rumba Pirates. May I ask, this beautiful lady, can I have a look at you? Bang. Jolin punched the skeleton directly on the deck. This guy deserves a fight. Jolin said in a bad tone. Brooke, Robin is my girlfriend, did you just want to say something to court death? Brooke quickly waved his hand. No, I just think Miss Robin's face is very good, I want to see Miss Robin's palmistry again, I'm taking the liberty, I'm sorry. He didn't dare to tell the truth, otherwise he might be smashed to pieces by Jolin. This Mr. Cube is really ruthless, and he takes great care of his girlfriend, so don't dare to annoy him. Only then was Jolin satisfied. My name is Jolin, this is my girlfriend Nico Robin, and this is the bodyguard Daz Bonus. Brooke got up quickly and saluted again. Mr. Jolin, Miss Robin, Mr. Bonus, thank you again for your rescue. I don't know how to repay you. Jolin said unceremoniously. It's easy to repay, just like Bonies, come and protect me. It's all right, but Mr. Jolin, I still have an unfulfilled agreement with Laboon. I know, I allow you to go to Gemini Cape to meet Laboon first, and you can live with Laboon temporarily, and I will call you when I am short of manpower. Thank you, boss. Brooke was overjoyed and grateful from the bottom of his heart. He has never dared to die, just to fulfill the agreement of his partners and Laboon to meet again, and Laboon has really waited for 50 years, he is really guilty and happy. Now that Jolin is willing to let him meet Laboon first, he is naturally grateful. As for the dream of traveling around the world for a week, he can only put it aside. With his current strength, he can't do it. It is more important to go back to see Laboon first. However, is it possible to get out of the labyrinth now? Brooke couldn't help worrying, but he felt relieved when he thought that Jolin could control the cube to fly. The reason why the Devil's Triangle cannot go out is because the fog will disturb the direction. Even if the navigator keeps an eye on the record pointer, he will easily get lost. But this Mr. Jolin can directly lead everyone to fly upwards out of the fog, and then follow the permanent pointer. That way you can get out. On the wooden board that was still floating in the air, Jolin turned the pirate ship into a cube and put it away, and took out a small hair to Brooke to sit on. Brooke also finally drank the hot tea, and couldn't help but burst into tears. As the plank flew out of the fog, Brooke saw the light and finally felt reborn. New world, all countries. Katakuri watched the 2 life cards burn to nothingness. He was shocked and angry for a while. The uncontrollable vibration of Conqueror's hockey scared everyone to tremble. Katakuri, what are you doing? Big Mom said angrily. Mom, the lives of Owen and Cracker are gone. Katakuri said, suppressing his sadness and anger. Nani, my 2 sons are dead. Who did it? Who did it? Big Mom was also furious, and the Conqueror's hockey erupted in an instant, which frightened everyone. Many people couldn't bear it and passed out directly. Katakuri said in a deep voice. Mom, Owen and Cracker were sent by you to deliver tea party invitations to Cube Kid, and Cube Kid seems to be able to defeat Marine Admiral Aokiji, no accident should be him. I will investigate this myself no matter who the murderer is, I will definitely let him never recover. The ant was also murderous, whoever it is, bring it back to me, I will suck his soul dry. Yes, I'll do it right away. Katakuri turned around and left, he wanted to see if Cube Kid did it. He dared to kill his brother, absolutely unforgivable. The 4 of Jolin came to the capital of 7 Waters. But this time, he didn't enter the city blatantly, but quietly landed in a corner without being noticed. Jolin gave Brooke a cloak, a phone bug, a stack of Baileys, and Whiskey Peak's permanent pointers. This skeleton should be hidden, so as not to be regarded as a monster, and he can't even get on the merchant ship. Point 0. As long as Brooke honestly takes a merchant ship, he can reach Whiskey Peak smoothly. The permanent pointer is given to fear that this guy will have an accident. Brooke naturally thanked him 1,000 times, and then he couldn't wait to leave. He couldn't wait to see Laboon soon. Jolin is not afraid that Brooke will run away. A person who can stick to the promise for 50 years, how could he not keep the promise? Jolin is still very relieved of Brooke. As for Brooke being a pirate, that's not a big problem. The Rumba Pirates are just a group of adventurers who embarked on a journey to pursue their musical dreams. Burning, killing, and looting are not bothering to do, which is a blasphemy against sacred music. Therefore, Jolin accepted Brooke without hesitation. But now there is no shortage of Brooke's combat power. Let Brooke complete the agreement first, so that Brooke can come back as a thug with peace of mind. This trip to the Devil's Triangle was very successful, and Jolin was very satisfied. The next stop, of course, is the Sky Island that Jolin and Robin have in mind, and they set off for Magic Valley Town without further ado. But before waiting for Jolin to act, Drago suddenly called and asked Jolin to wait near the capital of Seven Waters first, and he wanted to bring Fisher Tiger over. This confuses Jolin. Why did Drago bring him here without Tiger himself? However, Drago seems to be on his way, and it is difficult to explain on the phone bug, and Jolin can only wait patiently. 3 days later, Jolin and Drago met on an uninhabited deserted island near the capital of Seven Waters. Jolin couldn't help being taken aback when he saw a tall and muscular Murloc and a little girl with orange hair coming with Drago. The Murloc is Tiger, yes, but this little girl is Koala. How did Drago bring Koala? Jolin, we haven't seen each other for a long time. Dorag smiled and shook hands with Jolin cordially. Let me introduce to you, this is Mr. Fisher Tiger, and this little guy is Koala, a friend of Mr. Tiger. Then he looked at Robin again. Miss Robin, I have been looking for you, but Jolin has already found you first. Robin smiled politely, but didn't speak. Jolin hurriedly reached out his hand in a friendly manner. Hello, Mr. Tiger, it's really great that you're all right. And Koala, nice to meet you. Koala looked obediently, blinking and looking at Jolin and the three with curious eyes. Tiger also reached out to shake hands, but couldn't help being surprised. Your Excellency is the cube kid Jolin who dug through the upside-down mountain, killed Shichibukai crocodile, and defeated Marine Admiral Aokiji. Haha, it's just a false name, Mr. Tiger doesn't need to care about it. Quote. Tiger has a strange face. If defeating Marine Admiral is also a false name, how can others live? Jolin hurriedly asked about the specific situation, so Drago had time to explain in detail. After discussing with Tiger, Tiger wanted to know more about the Revolutionary Army. Naturally, Drago agreed to take Tiger to the base of the Revolutionary Army without hesitation. Just because Tiger was injured, in order to make the world government stop thinking about Tiger, Tianchi Sun Pirates decided to fake Tiger's death. Then Jinbei served as the new captain of the Sun Pirates, and at the same time contacted Marine, hoping to become Shichibukai, so as to protect the Sun Pirates and the Fishmen Island. This method was very good, and all the Murlocs including Arlong agreed. Although it is aggrieved to be the lackey of Shichibukai for world government and Marine, but this is the best choice at present, and Jinbei also resolutely took over this important task. However, the world government does not speak honesty. Because he failed to capture or kill Tiger, he sent people to slaughter Koala's hometown. When Dorag heard the news and left, the people on the island had been killed, and only Koala was saved in the end. When Koala saw Tiger, he broke down and cried, hugging Tiger and not letting go. Drago had to take Koala with him. However, Dorag received a message from Ivankov on the way. He had to go back to East Blue urgently, and it was inconvenient to take Tiger and Koala with him. So I asked Jolin to help me take it first. Tiger is still in a relatively dangerous situation, and it is more assured that Jolin will protect him personally. After hearing this, Jolin couldn't help feeling emotional. He didn't expect such a change after saving Tiger. After all, the people in Koala's hometown were murdered. Poor little guy, he will probably join the Revolutionary Army with Tiger in the future. Robin hugged Koala in his arms with a distressed face. Koala was not used to it at first, but maybe Robin was too gentle, and soon became dependent on the embrace, and buried her tear-stained face in Robin's arms. Hearing Drago talk about the tragedy in his hometown, I still can't help being sad. But the little guy is used to forbearance, even if he is crying, he usually won't cry. Jolin immediately agreed. Then I will be responsible for the safety of Mr. Tiger and Koala for the time being. I just happen to be going to Sky Island soon. There will be no world government and marine people there, and absolute safety is guaranteed. Quote. It would be great. Drago was finally relieved, and then looked at Tiger apologetically. Mr. Tiger, I'm sorry that I can't take you to the Revolutionary Army base right away. But Jolin is our partner, and we can understand the Revolutionary Army together with him. Please feel wrong for a while. Tiger waved his hand indifferently, but asked curiously, Mr. Jolin is really going to Sky Island? Is there really a Sky Island in this world? Jolin affirmed. Sky Island is definitely there. If the Fishmen Island is the lowest island in the world, then Sky Island is the highest island. Mr. Tiger, you are from the Fishmen Island with the lowest position, go to it may also be a meaningful journey to the highest Sky Island. Oh, then I'll wait and see. Tiger was originally a great adventurer, and now hearing what Jolin said, he couldn't help being excited. As for whether Jolin is trustworthy or not, Tiger didn't think much about it. Since he chose to come with Drago, he naturally has expectations for the Revolutionary Army, and his friends in the Fishmen Island now have Jinbei protection and don't need to worry. Tiger is not afraid of anything now. Drago didn't have time to stay any longer, and he was about to leave after saying goodbye. But before Dorag left, Jolin handed Longma's body cube and Heidao Chushui to Dorag, and informed Moria about the body theft. You hand over the body and the black knife to Mr. Koshiro. It is more appropriate for Ryoma's body to be buried by him. As for the black knife Chushui, if you ask him to give it to the person who is destined for Chushui, he should already have someone in mind. Jolin warned carefully, since Dorag is going to East Blue, let him run errands by the way. Ryoma is the dragon-slaying hero of Wano-kuni. It should have been buried in Wano-kuni, but now Wano-kuni is occupied by Kaido, so it is not easy to take it to Wano-kuni for burial. Jolin respects a powerful swordsman like Ryoma, but he doesn't like places like Wano-kuni very much. Therefore, I still think it is best to leave it to Shimotsuki Koshiro. As for Chushui, Jolin couldn't use it smoothly, so he simply handed it over to Koshiro. Not surprisingly, Koshiro should give Chushui to Zoro. After all, Zoro has a special background. I just don't know if something happened to Kuina. If not, then the words of Hidayuki naturally belong to Kuina. And Zoro, who lacks a knife, happens to inherit the black knife Chushui, which is also very heavy. Dorag agreed again and again, and then disappeared into a strong wind. Jolin was not in a hurry to rush, and immediately changed tables, chairs, benches and food from the pile of cubes, and everyone ate together. Koala was very curious about Jolin's ability like magic. She blinked and looked at Jolin, but she didn't dare to ask. She was used to being cautious. Jolin looked at Koala, and then at the sun brand on Tiger's chest, and a flash of inspiration flashed in his mind. So he waved to Koala, Koala, come to my brother, brother, I will give you a good thing. Koala hesitated, but with Robin's encouragement, he bravely walked up to Jolin. I saw Jolin took out a devil fruit and put it in Koala's hand. This is the Paramesha bubble fruit. After eating it, you can rub out many magical bubbles. Those bubbles can wash away everything, including the brand marks on your body. He said and looked at Tiger. Tiger was shocked all over, subconsciously touched the brand mark on his chest, and stared straight at the bubble fruit. Koala looked at the strange fruit curiously, and finally said, is it really, really so magical? Jolin stretched out his hand and rubbed the little guy's hair. Of course it's true, brother won't lie. And you may not know that Mr. Tiger made a mistake when he branded the sun pattern when forming the Sun Pirate's place. If you can help Mr. Tiger wash off the branding, Mr. Tiger can rebrand the sun pattern at the position he likes. Koala immediately looked at Tiger. Tiger, is that so? But Tiger's eyes were already red. Yes. That's right. Koala, please eat the bubble fruit, and use the bubble to help me wash off the branding. That's great. I can finally help Tiger. Koala showed a happy smile, and then took a bite. Her complexion suddenly turned purple, but she still swallowed the fruit forcefully. What a brave little guy. Seeing that Koala was about to continue eating, Luo hurriedly stopped him. Koala, devil fruit only needs to eat one bite. If it tastes bad, don't continue to eat it, it will be very uncomfortable. Oh, thank you, Sister Robin. Koala breathed a sigh of relief, put the pulp on the table, and then looked blank. Jolin hurriedly said, "You feel the power carefully, it is your instinct to make bubbles now, you can definitely do it." Koala nodded, then tried to rub his hands together, imagining that he could make bubbles, and in the next second, a bunch of white bubbles were produced, which surprised Koala very much. Tiger, I can really make bubbles. Koala ran up to Tiger excitedly, wanting to ask Tiger to praise him. Tiger squeezed the little guy's little face and said with a smile, "Yes, Koala is really powerful." Then, please ask Koala to wash off the brand on my body now. Voices trembled, full of tension and anticipation, even afraid that Koala will not be able to do it. Koala nodded, seeing Tiger squatting down, he immediately reached out and rubbed on Tiger's chest, and quickly produced a lot of bubbles, and in order to wash it clean, it can be said that he tried his best. Wow, the bubbles were pushed away by Koala, and the previous sun brand was washed away. Moreover, Tiger's chest became extremely smooth. Tiger, it should be cleaned up like this. Koala raised his eyes and begged for praise. Yeah, it's clean. It's too clean. Tiger was so excited that he burst into tears on the spot, and hugged Koala tightly in his arms. Thank you. Thank you, Koala, I'm out now. I'm out. Koala was puzzled, seeing that Tiger was crying, he was at a loss for what to do. Robin and Bonus also looked confused. Only Jolin understands Tiger's thoughts. Under his sun brand is the dragon's hoof mark that he regards as a shame in his life. It is the symbol of celestial dragon's slaves. But now, the imprint has been completely washed away. The brand of the sun can only cover up after all, but it cannot cover up the fact that he was a slave once. The mark of the flying dragon's hoof seems to be burned into the flesh and blood, which makes people very painful. But, it's now thoroughly cleaned. Fisher Tiger is no longer a slave, he can be a murloc with dignity. Tiger recovered quickly and squeezed Koala's cheek affectionately. He now thinks this little human is very cute, and even wants to treat him as his family. Also, Jolin, whom I just met, is a wonderful guy. Sure enough, Princess Otahime is right, there are good people among human beings, and murlocs and mermaids can live in peace with human beings. But Princess Otahime was also at fault, because she didn't see the essence of racial discrimination, thinking that she could get it from celestial dragons, but she didn't know that celestial dragons were the first to treat murlocs and mermaids as toys. So, overthrow the corrupt celestial dragons to usher in true equality. Thank you, Mr. Jolin. Tiger sincerely thanked. Mr. Tiger is polite, just call me Jolin. Jolin waved his hand indifferently. Okay, then Jolin, you can also call me Tiger, we will be good friends from now on. Tiger can now say that he completely trusts Jolin. This is also the purpose of Jolin taking out the bubble fruit. Tiger has a knot in his heart, and it is difficult to get over the hurdle in his heart, and he will subconsciously hate humans. It is extremely difficult to gain Tiger's complete trust. Only when the slave mark is washed away, Tiger will truly trust humans. In this way, Tiger has officially joined the Revolutionary Army. Everyone should have rested enough. Let's set off now. There are good things waiting for us on Sky Island, this will definitely be a pleasant trip. On the other side, Dorag is on his way quickly. While talking to Ivankov with a phone bug. Ivankov, is the big ship ready? When can I leave? Will there be any delay in arriving at the Kingdom of Goa? Dorag asked a series of questions. Hop, I'll handle things, don't worry. Ivankov is very confident. It will be some time before the celestial dragons go to the Kingdom of Goa, and the decision of the Kingdom of Goa to burn the garbage dump is also known to us at the first time, and we will definitely catch up. This is exactly why Dorag is eager to get back to East Blue. The celestial dragons are going to visit the Kingdom of Goa. In order to welcome celestial dragons, the nobles of Goa Kingdom decided to burn all the garbage dumps they thought were dirty. There are countless poor people living in that garbage dump. If this fire goes down, I don't know how many innocent people will die. We must save people. It is impossible to stop, because it is easy for the nobles to burn down the garbage dump. Just send someone to light a fire. The most important thing now is to rescue the people from the garbage dump before the fire is started. Just as the Revolutionary Army is currently short of people, then these people will become the source of soldiers for the Revolutionary Army. Saving lives can be said to kill two birds with one stone. It's just that Drago is still worried, because the windmill village is in the kingdom of Goa. Garp, the father, doesn't raise his grandson well, but instead throws his grandson to bandits. If Luffy goes to the garbage station, wouldn't it be very dangerous? To be on the safe side, Drago decided to rush there himself. After all, he is Luffy's father, and he can't tell others yet. Drago's hunch was right. Since Luffy was thrown into the care of Dayton by Garp, he started running around the garbage station with Ace and Sabo, fighting with the vicious guys on the garbage station site for food, completely unaware of the imminent disaster. But Garp didn't know about it either. Now Garp is being detained by Sengoku to work in the headquarters, and he has just asked for leave before, so it is impossible to ask for leave now. The Quadrennial World Government Conference will be held this year. The franchised royal families from various sea areas will basically gather in Mariajoy, and Marine is naturally responsible for the safety of Mariajoy. After all, Sengoku has just assumed the position of Marine Marshal, so this matter must be done well. Otherwise celestial dragons will definitely have opinions, which will have a bad impact on Sengoku's position. So no matter how Garp makes a fuss, Sengoku will not approve fake products this year. Garp will have to wait until World Summit is over. Garp also knew the situation of his old comrades in arms, so he only complained a few words, but he didn't make a fuss. Instead, he obediently did the task, patrolling when he needed to, and guarding when he needed to. But Garp was upset that the celestial dragon's scum was real. Basically, few people know why Garp tried his best to protect celestial dragons in the Valley of the Gods, and Garp kept silent about it. Fortunately, celestial dragons is relatively tolerant of Garp because of this. However, Yinlong people are generally more noisy. Obviously the World Summit is coming soon, but the celestial dragons don't care, instead they play around. For example, this trip to East Blue was done with great fanfare. In order to receive the celestial dragons well, it can be said that the member countries of East Blue have tried their best. The Kingdom of Goa is just a representative of them. For many celestial dragons, the so-called World Summit doesn't concern them at all. No matter what proposals are proposed by the member countries of the world government, as long as it does not affect the absolute dominance of the celestial dragons and does not disturb the enjoyment of the celestial dragons, it does not matter. Of course, the celestial dragons who are actually in power will naturally care about the content of World Summit. In other words, the World Summit is hosted by the celestial dragons who are really in power, just to better control the sea. Frank Capet is also one of the franchise countries, and naturally received invitations to participate in the World Summit, but it is impossible to participate in the current situation of Frank Capet. Jolin doesn't have high expectations for World Summit. It was just a farce where the celestial dragons in power brought a group of franchise boys to get together to argue for more benefits. If it is taken too seriously, it may be a joke instead. In the end, as long as the rule of the celestial dragons is not overthrown, everything is illusory. Even if the interests of the country are really won, it is only based on the absolute dominance of the celestial dragons. Once the celestial dragons feel unhappy, the country will be targeted again. Just like the Fishmen Island. Princess Otahime is very active in promoting the friendly relationship between the Murlocs and the human race, but the results have been minimal. This year's World Summit, the royal family of the Fishmen Island will naturally participate, and Princess Othime should also express her own opinions at the meeting, but it is obviously useless. It has been a day or two since humans have rejected and discriminated against Murlocs, and it is really difficult to change this status quo. Moreover, celestial dragons are representatives of discrimination against Murlocs. They are very keen to turn Murlocs and mermaids into their own slaves, treating them as ornamental objects or playthings to be abused at will, and they have never been able to give equality and respect. Seeking equality and face up with such a person in power, Princess Othime's idea is still too naive after all. That's why Tiger disagrees with Princess Othime. When listening to Jolin mentioning the World Summit, Tiger also informed about his disagreement with Princess Othime. Now Tiger trusts Jolin very much, so he communicates with Jolin very actively. But it reminded Jolin of something. In other words, the current Princess Othime has not been assassinated by Hody Jones yet. That's good news. Princess Otahime's idea of promoting friendly relations between the Murlocs and humans is good, but her approach is wrong. This behavior of seeking justice from those in power who exploits her is exactly the same as a beggar seeking commonwealth from the rich. To be truly successful is to be a ghost. But the revolutionary army can win Princess Otahime over. As long as Princess Otahime understands that only when the revolution succeeds can the Fishmen Island be truly valued and respected, and can further talk about equality and friendship. I believe that Princess Otahime will not refuse to cooperate. The most urgent task is to ensure the safety of Princess Otahime. In what year was she assassinated? Jolin rubbed his head. There are too many plots about memories in the One Piece world, and the time is often not explained. If you don't study it specifically, you will never know in what year many things happened. So Jolin could only ask Tiger, Tiger, does Princess Othime often give speeches on getting along with humans in the Fishmen Island? Tiger nodded, yes, what's wrong? I think you should pay attention to Princess Otto's safety. Huh, what do you mean? Think about it, Tiger, there must be a lot of Murlocs who are hostile to humans, but the princess made such a speech with such fanfare, which undoubtedly angered some people. But if some Murlocs are more radical, it may be detrimental to the princess. You mean someone might attack the princess in a fit of rage? But the princess is from the royal family, and the speech is accompanied by guards, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? No, that's not enough. Jolin said seriously, Tiger, if a Murloc hates humans to the core, it is definitely impossible to hope for friendly relations with humans. If this Murloc assassinates the princess and then blames humans, what do you think will happen? Quote. Tiger immediately reacted, his eyes widened, it will make the Fishmen Island completely enmity with humans. That's right, originally the Fishmen Island didn't have a good sense of human beings, many Murlocs and mermaids were extremely hostile to humans. If the beloved Princess Otahime is killed by humans, then the Fishmen Island's hatred will completely turn into hatred, not to mention friendly relations, it would be good if they don't go to war directly. In that case, all the efforts of Princess Othime will be in vain. And the Fishmen Island has no future at all. Tiger quickly understood this possibility, because he himself, was a Murloc who hated humans to the bone, but if he was less rational, he might also want to assassinate Princess Otahime. However, there are probably not many Murlocs who are as rational as him, especially those guys who are afraid of chaos in the Murloc street. I will contact Jinbei immediately and ask him to ensure the safety of the princess. Tiger didn't dare to delay, so he quickly took out his phone bug and wrote a call to Jinbei. Seeing that Tiger contacted Jinbei face to face, Jolin didn't have any intention of hiding away, so he couldn't help showing a gratified smile. Tiger really trusts him now. Robin on the side is holding Koala, very curious about her boyfriend. She never asked specifically what Jolin was doing, but she could vaguely guess something, but she didn't expect her boyfriend's goal to be so big, so she couldn't help but be surprised. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.